like being Hindu and stuff, like growing up, like I used to, like, it's crazy with the vegan stuff now. People are like, oh, it's cool to go vegetarian. Homie, when I said I didn't eat beef when I was in elementary school, I started beef. People would fucking come to me and be like,
and we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the I Love You Man podcast. I'm Caleb Cavazos, your host.
Behind the boards, producer.
Awesome. So this is actually our first episode since we launched our podcast. So I want to give a huge thank you to all of the listeners of the first episode. I also want to thank Roger Monroe. His Instagram's at Roger Likes to Draw for the cover art. That shit looks fucking clean. And I'm really hyped to have something so professional behind the pod, especially for something that's just real casual and fun. It's really awesome that you can rely on your friends to just like help you out when you want to do something creative, and like you can just riff off each other, get ideas off of each other, and like see that, wow, some of your friends are actually really awesome artists. And if you rely more on them and give them the opportunity to do something awesome, they're going to show up for you. So I know everyone loves going to Fiverr and trying to find some guy to do something. Hit up your friends, even if they aren't the best artist, give them something to work on, give them a project to look forward to. And always, as is ever, make sure you pay your friends too. Cause these guys are artists. They're trying to grind and hustle to make sure that at the end of the day, their artwork can be appreciated and that their artwork can, maybe even help sustain them a bit. Cause that's kind of the dream for all of us out here. We live in the West, we don't want to be working 9 to 5. We want to be doing something creative. We want to be doing something that's influential, a cultural significance, so that we could show everyone, hey, we're just trying to live our life out here in America, trying to do some creative things. And hopefully we can make some money off of that because, that's really the dream out here, just trying to make money, doing what you love. And now this podcast has nothing to do about making money. We're not trying to do anything like that. We're just really thankful for you guys listening. This is just a casual conversation between friends. And really, we're just really appreciative of you guys tuning in. So today's episode, Seth, I just definitely wanted to riff with you a bit, man. How's your day been going, dude?
I mean, my day's barely started right now. I got out of work at 3:30, worked till 6, and I'm doing that 9 to 5 life, the life that we're trying to avoid. But I mean, sometimes you can't escape it.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere.
You got to push through it. Hey, and you gotta make that money to support your dream. Support what you want to do on the road to that being your profession. You know what I mean? And back to what you're saying. Hey, it's all about the people you hang out with, bro. Hang out with creative people, and you'll be more creative. You can elevate yourself by elevating the people that you're around.
You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. That's a huge quote that everyone talks about. And it's actually really true. It's like you want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, with people that are positive, because that's going to allow you to kind of merge off of those energies and also become more positive a person, also become more creative a person. And so don't get too down on yourself for working that 9 to 5, dude. A lot of people out there are working that 9 to 5. And this podcast, maybe hopefully we can get through people through their shifts.
It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 6 to 3:30. Same shit.
Oh, okay. 6 to 3:30. 6 a.m. he's talking about, guys. I'm saying, even if it is, 6 to 10, 9 to 5s, they do suck. But hey, if it is something that you could just kind of zone out, hopefully you could put a podcast on. Hopefully you could put some music on. Just kind of get through that shift.
Listen to 3 podcasts today.
Because really, exactly. Seth listened to 3 podcasts today. I doubt any of them was our podcast, but still, we love the support out there from our listeners, dude. So if you could just go ahead and keep on listening, keep on downloading, we'd really love it because we're really trying to break out of this, man. We're actually desperate. What I said about this being casual, now this is actually our last chance. If you guys don't subscribe and help us with this,
last straw.
Yeah, we're out on our luck, dude. We're out on our luck. So if you care anything about us, if you care anything about me,
hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.
Like, and you're going to subscribe, and you're also going to download on all the platforms that you can. So thank you so much for that first episode, all those listeners. Oh man, I'm just super appreciative of that. But we actually have a new guest today, and this is a guest that I'm really excited for. This is my friend that I made, my first friend that I made when I went to college at UCSB. I saw this guy sitting in the lobby wearing a a Logic shirt that just said everybody. I went up to him. I said, "Hey, dude, I like your sweater." He said, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, I got the same one, just in a different color." He's like, "Bro, that's pretty dope." And then I backed off. Sometimes especially when you're hitting on women, hitting on friends, you go in there, you throw down the one-liner, and then you back off. You don't want to be too desperate for attention, Even though I was there, I was fiending for a friend. I hadn't talked to anyone, I saw this fucking guy wearing the Logic. I said, "Hey, there's something in common. I better go in there, shoot my shot."
That's crazy.
So I went in there, said the one-liner, and I stepped back. I let the universe do the rest of the work. And then what happens? Maybe the next day, 2 days, I am just walking down Isla Vista. If you guys don't know about it, we went to UC Santa Barbara. Just walking down the streets, trying to enjoy the sights, trying to take in, wow, this is my new life. And who do I see? I see Nathan and all of his buddies. Boom, biking down the roads. All three of them. I say, "Yo, Nathan." He looks back at me. "Hey, Caleb." They stop. He introduces me to his other friends. Jeremy was there. I think maybe Roger was there.
Wow.
Those are the only ones I remember. But they stopped. And then we said, "What's up?" And later, that ended up leading us to meeting up a little bit later. I think we went to a concert together, one of those opening week concerts, and we've been friends ever since. So this is someone that I definitely love with all of my heart. I'm super excited to have him on the podcast. This is our friend, Nathen Deo. Welcome very much, Nathan, to the pod.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, man. Thank you. No, dude, shout out to the podcast again for you guys, having me on. It's awesome that both you and, Caleb and Seth, both of you guys are doing something like this. I think it's super sick. Yeah, dude, that's a crazy story on how we met, man. I remember I didn't have a lot of clothes in my wardrobe at the time, and I was like, dude, I gotta wear something. And I was a huge Logic fan at the time, so I was like, dude, I didn't have drip. I still have drip. What are you talking about, bro? I'm wearing a Captain America shirt right now, homie. We just out here from Walmart.
Hey, if we opened up that closet,
that's drip nowadays, man.
But yeah, I remember I was wearing the Everybody hoodie. And Caleb comes up to me. He's like, "Dude, my name is Caleb. Now, nice to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, this is sick." I didn't know it was that easy to make friends. But for some reason, I didn't get his name for the longest time. It's so funny. I thought his name was Cable. And I'm like, I remember I would go to, our friend Jeremy, the guy from the first episode. I was like, "Dude, this guy Cable's really sick." And Jeremy would be like, "No, bro, his name's Caleb. You're switching the letters." And I'm like, "Bro, I think I'm dyslexic." Because I'm like, it's just, I remember I always struggle with it. And it's so funny, the moment that Caleb saw us biking, I don't know how to bike. I still am very amateurish, but I remember I was learning at that time. And I saw him and I tapped Jeremy, we're riding. I'm like, "Hey, it's Cable." And Jeremy's like, "No, you can't say that. You can't just call him out by Cable. He'll think you're weird." And I'm like, "Dude, what's his name?" He's like, "It's something with the C." And I'm like, Caleb. I'm like, "Hey, Caleb." I put my hand out, waved to him. Caleb's like, "Dude, what's up?" And yeah, dude, ever since, man, we've been tight friends. My 3 years at UC Santa Barbara with you, bro, it was crazy. You have so many memories, dude, so many stories. But yeah, dude, thank you again for having me on the podcast, bro.
Dude, of course. Me going up to you, one of my best decisions I made in college, to be honest. You have made me laugh more than anyone I've ever met. So I just know we're going to have a really funny conversation today. I know we're going to have a really awesome life together too. So just thanks again for joining us, dude.
I'm tearing up. This is too much right now, man. Dude, Seth, don't be dropping love
going
bombs
to college.
I'm gonna start getting emotional.
If you have the opportunity and you're young, go, bro. Because I made some great friends in college, dude. Look it. This is what I'm gonna say.
What are you saying,
bro? Look it. When you're not in college, it's hard to go out and make those connections with people and make the friends that you can make, like Caleb made with Deo. Seriously, because you guys are hanging out all the time. You guys are grown people. You guys aren't little kids anymore. This is when you make the bestest friends and the friends that relate to you the most, because you've already developed as the person you are. Yeah. And
I definitely agree with you there, Seth. It really does take us back to kind of even the start of this podcast. It's the social fabric of our society is kind of deteriorating when it comes to social interactions with our peers.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of places where you could think about this. Back in the day, minimum wage jobs, back in the 70s, that'd be all high schoolers, right? A bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds working at McDonald's. Now, if you go try to get a job at McDonald's, your supervisor is going to be this woman that's 42 years old. And then you're going to have another guy that's maybe 65. He's already retired, but now he has to work at a McDonald's just to work part-time just to get by because his Social Security doesn't cover it. The very fact is we don't have as many interactions between people of our own age anymore, unless you do go to something like college or you do join a club or you do sports. So that's why it's really important to just go out there and put yourself into vulnerable situations where you could just meet people. We're not saying you have to go to college.
Yeah, like
we're not saying you have to go to college or anything like that. Yeah, they're definitely less close.
That's the lag.
Hey, sorry about the lag, guys. We'll go ahead and try to fix this in post. But anyways, but Seth is definitely speaking onto something true.
Like, let me set this clear. College does suck. Like literally when I was there, I hated class. I dreaded it, bro. I fucking hated going to class. I hated going to math. I hated going to science. All this shit was fucking such a bitch. But literally at the end of the day, I'm right there and I'm in the same dorm as my homies. We're smoking every night, chilling every night. Got a big ass TV, got the games, just hanging out, chilling all the time. It's worth it, bro. That's the balance, man. It fucking sucks, like fucking stressing about grades and shit. But dude, your homies are there. The experiences are there. They balance it out.
No, I definitely think now that I'm listening to you and hearing what you're saying, I get what you're saying because I do think college is, definitely a breeding ground for people to make connections and stuff like that, for people of similar age and backgrounds to, get together and chat it up and stuff. But homie, I'm just saying it straight up, my connections came from necessity. I was a shy little introverted kid. I was scared, I'm going to be honest,
Yep.
it's very much amazing to have that opportunity, but dude, Caleb running into me at that one place, I don't know, Seth, if you know this, but there's 7 living spaces on campus. For me to pick the 1 year, that one same living space and having him be down the hall, dude, it's crazy, man.
That's what fate is, bro.
College definitely creates that, dude. Yeah, no, absolutely.
See, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You go out there, whether you're trying to find a friend or you're trying to find maybe a partner in life, you go out there and you set the intention down. You put out that one line, you compliment them, you tell them something that you like about them, and then you let the universe do the rest. That's what the whole thing was. I went out there, I said that one line, and then the universe later on made us run into each other, and then boom, that's how it goes down. But that's never going to happen if you don't go out there and say something. So right. It's really hard nowadays, especially with just everyone on social media. It's kind of harder to just make real world connections. People have anxiety. I get super nervous, especially when I'm trying to meet somebody new, especially in a situation where I actually want to meet somebody. When you're surrounded by a bunch of cool people and you're like, yo, I want to hang out with them. You just got to make that first step and the rest will get taken care of. You just got to make sure you're always taking that first step. It's not going to work out every time, but take the first step and it's gonna do good for you in the future for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah. The more you get older, the more you realize that stepping out of your comfort zone and jumping into those situations where you're like, holy shit, I would never do that. You realize that you could do that. You have a good time. You have a good experience. You want to do that. You want that feeling again. So it proves to yourself, because we have all these limitations that we set up on ourselves, all up here. You know what I mean? All made up, just that we made up through our life that we lived. And once you realize that, none of that shit.
Oh, go ahead and put a pause real quick. Nolly's really walking through the door. This can go 4 hours. Who knows, dude? I can go 4 hours on this right now.
This is a crazy. We're
if it wasn't for Seth's lag, bro, it'd be going crazy right now.
Dude, bro, Seth, man, it's so funny because Caleb's going through a whole paragraph, and in the middle of it, you just hear,
hey,
to the first point that Caleb makes. Homie, turn on the 5G, start the hotspot, get something, bro, please, man. Go to somebody else's house. Is Joaquin using the Xbox?
It's so hard. It's so hard. Hey, it's so hard to enter a conversation. It's so hard to enter a conversation because look at right when Caleb pauses, right? They all start talking. So I'm trying to fucking guess when he's gonna pause. I'm like, all right, so is he about to start? Is he about to stop talking in 5 seconds? And then that's my cue to go. But then if I wait till he stops talking, I start talking.
Yeah, no, it sucked. It just sucks straight up because I just tried to interrupt you and it took 5 seconds for you to realize.
The best one, I don't work 5 to 9. 10 seconds of just silence.
No, you go, hey, I don't work 5 to 9. You just...
Dude.
I work 6 to 3, dog.
Hey,
Hey,
gonna
Seth,
add,
no.
this is why we're different than regular podcasts. All right, this is gonna add some spice to it.
Yeah, because we got bad technical difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We're crippled. That's what it is. It's like saying we're different, but you pull up in a handicap spot in the parking lot.
999.
Like, yeah, you're different, but it doesn't mean 999. What are you trying to say? Juice World? Juice World reference, dude. Awesome. Going back to what you're saying about social interactions, I think like you make a good point with social media. I think a big thing is that I think a lot of social media platforms creates this sense of pressure where I feel like it's really hard for people to just have authentic connections sometimes because they feel like there's like a expectation to have something really grand or it's not anything to really take into consideration. And I think like another thing is like this whole feeling of, missing out or FOMO. Like I feel like people, you go on social media, you click on people's stories and stuff and they're having a great time. And that makes it hard to kind of validate your experiences because you may not think it's at the same level of somebody else that's doing something really extraordinary. And I think like, at the same time, while you're completely right, Caleb, where it's like, you should just go into life with the intentions of what you want. I mean, I think sometimes it's okay to just having a general intention of just be willing to try something new. Like if you don't have everything figured out, that's perfectly fine. But if you're at least, if somebody says hi to you, say hi back. It's not something that's super. Yeah, I know. Like we also, I'm sure, like including us, I'm sure we also have dealt with things with anxiety and other things like that. But if you can just go at your own pace, whenever it comes to just making connections, like most of the connections that I've made in my life honestly came accidentally. Like for you to meet me, for one, we can say that it's fate, but on the other hand, we can just say that was just random. And a lot of things honestly happen when you just don't plan it out.
Yeah.
When it comes to having honest connections, just to go about life the way you want to, be authentic in yourself.
Yep.
And then whatever you do after, you'll know that you'll at least be 100% into it. And whatever comes out of it, comes out of it,
Yeah.
I think that's, it's a great point. It's a great point to make with social connections.
Yeah.
Sure.
What were you going to say, Seth?
I kind of forgot. It was like so long ago. Oh yeah. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay, so he was talking about that.
There's no way you lost track. We're 19 minutes in, Seth.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, we're going to pass on that one. But I'll respond to you, Deo. Dude, I was actually just looking at some stats on another podcast I was talking about. It was comparing today versus 1998. And it was saying that for most Americans, they've actually gone down on the number of close friendships that they've had. They've gone down in the faith that they have in the government and society. They've gone down in the faith that we have in our community and like a community bonding. So all of these things are going down. It just sounds like the only thing that's going up is how much do you value money? And that one went way up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of course, but it
Andrew
definitely
Tate,
does
bro.
just show. Yeah, hey, dude, if you're not the top G, what are you even doing online? You know what I mean? It's like if you don't got your Bugatti to show, why are you even posting on Instagram? That's why I don't post, because once I get the Bugatti, then I'll post, because that's when you're flexing. But right now, no, I keep it low key. You know what I mean? No, I'm just joking.
Dude, you were talking about a survey about friendships, and all of a sudden you go like, number of close friends down, trust in the government. Like, oh, we're going down this path? All right. Like, you're about to go to something political. But no, I get what you're saying, man. But at the same time, though, while there may not be a lot of friends that we encounter, through our lives, I feel like the ones that we do encounter and keep have a little bit more value to them.
Yep.
That could be another way of looking at it.
That's
when
a really
you
good point.
hang out with a small populace of like people, you end up creating really unique and honestly really deep connections with these people. And I feel like before, you would know a lot of people, especially like our parents' generation, it feels like sometimes, man, our parents know everyone, just like the way they're just able to walk up to people and just say hi and stuff. But, for all we know, that's just a very, surface level friendship where they're just casual with each other to say hi. I feel like in today's world, I think depending on how defined you feel as a person, you're allowed to create more, honestly, genuine friendships, like the one we have, or like, the one I have with Seth, or even you two as brothers. Like, once you understand who people are, especially in this generation and how they operate, it becomes really it becomes a really great opportunity to really create something special that I don't think the other generations may not have had the opportunity to get. Maybe they did in some aspects.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my take from what I've seen in my
I
life.
totally like that take. And I could see it because think about it. If the number of close friends goes down, then that probably means you're just a lot closer to those limited friends. And that's what we encourage on this podcast is about making sure you're keeping up those relationships with your friends because they're so important for the social well-being of yourself, for your mental health. Having a good group of friends that you can go to and talk about things, be vulnerable in front of, that's going to do 10 times more than any fucking cold plunge or therapy session is going to do. Having a great friend to talk to will make you feel so much better than finding all of these external ways of bringing validation into your life. Because, it's a human connection that you're having with someone. And you guys are bonding by the fact that you guys are both going through this crazy thing called life together. So you can really bond over that and just grow a lot closer and help each other get through things, And that's the only one thing that I worry about is just that people forgetting how good it feels to have a really good group of friends that you're always talking to, that you're super excited to check the group chat because that funny friend just sent some crazy meme that's just going to make you laugh. Having that just makes you feel so much more connected to the world, so much more connected to other humans. And it's just really important that you keep up those connections, even when it feels like, you're going through a bad time. You're not necessarily in the best mental state. I know it feels there. Hey, I don't want to burden my friends with anything. That's when your friends are going to step up the most because these are guys that really love you. And these are girls that really love you. And these are other pronouns that really love you. And I'm just saying that they are there for you in these times of need. So you just hit them up because that's what they're there for. And I guarantee you, maybe if the first one doesn't respond, hit up the second one. Don't give up too quick because maybe they're going through something. If you're hitting up a friend because he's going through something bad and he kind of gives you some negative energy, you don't need to necessarily get mad at that. Just realize, okay, he's not in the situation to help me, but hopefully one of my other friends are. So we just always encourage on this podcast, just hit up your friends, dude. Try to just keep those connections going throughout life because you're going to definitely appreciate it when you get older and you just have someone to call when maybe life gets you down. You have someone to pick you up, or when something really great happens to you, you have someone to call and share in that excitement, and they're going to be freaking stoked for you. Because that's what it is like being a great friend, Like any accomplishment that Seth gets, any accomplishment that Deo gets, I'm feeling the victory too. I'm happy for him. It makes me happy. And I'm sure that vice versa is the same way. So it's just really important that we just keep on these connections because it's just really important for our mental well-being. And I just have a lot of hope that if we just keep on connecting with each other, that our society is going to be completely fine. There's a lot of worry out there, but I think if as humans, we can continue to connect with each other and love each other, we're going to be fine.
Yeah. And also just be open to making new friends as well. Just because, I know you just hanging out with people, I've noticed there's people that do have a great support team as through friends and stuff. There's also people I've met that don't really have that, that privilege of just going to people and talking to them when they need it. If you don't have that, there's nothing wrong with it. Just because you don't have it now doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you haven't had the opportunity to meet someone that you can really confide in like that and be open to still, go look for that. I know sometimes, especially coming out of a post-pandemic society, I feel like there is a part of us where we're really shut in, being more indoors, more remote work, being more isolated. But that shouldn't stop you from, wanting to do something. If you want to go watch movies at the movie theater, you can meet someone by doing something like that, joining a club. People that are into video games, streaming on Twitch or something to get their own fan base and stuff. The podcast, getting into something. I think it's really powerful to understand yourself even more and understanding not what you're good at, but what you love to do. Because I think passion speaks far more than words sometimes, and that's a great way to not only work on the existing bonds that you have with people, but to also foster new ones down the road.
I feel like we're just, I thought this was going to be more of a comedic episode. I just feel like we're speaking just straight facts. And we're just giving out straight good energy out right now, man.
Hey, go back to the government one, bro. Go back to that government question about the trust.
Let's get in that rabbit hole.
Yeah, dude, it's about someone's gonna start playing Juice WRLD in the back. Speakers on the blast.
Hey, I got Juice WRLD right there. Seriously. juice.
No,
I love
baby.
juice.
Oh yeah, we all love juice, dude. Hey, what I wanted to talk to you about Dio is because me and Dio, going back to the whole Logic, I just watched this new podcast with Theo Vaughn and Logic. I don't know. I just wanted to ask if you possibly saw any clips from that, or if you possibly watched it.
No, I saw some clips on TikTok with Theo and Logic, and honestly, I've been watching a lot of clips actually of Theo on TikTok, and I love him.
Oh,
I
dope!
think he's
I'm glad
hilarious.
you like him. He's so sick.
He's so funny, dude. I don't know why, but I feel like sometimes my sense of humor kind of relates with his, because like I feel like he goes off on tangents, and I feel like that's been something that people always tell me. Like I'll talk about something, next thing you know, we're going down a different rabbit hole, and people are like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
Hey, that's what makes you a great guy to talk to, though, bro.
That kind of, dude. Hey man, that's a rare comment right there. All right, my mom tells me to shut up on the weekdays, homie. So it's like, but yeah, it's crazy. I love Theo, man. Like I think he's hilarious. The reason I say that is because I don't think I like Logic as much after I saw the clips.
Dude, me and Dio used to be the biggest Logic fans, bro. You know when there was that period from between like 2014 to like 2017 where if you liked Logic, it was low-key kind of cringe? Like we were fans during that period. You know what I mean?
Like,
I don't think it was cringe.
It's always been cringe. There was never a moment where someone was like, Logic? Oh, that's cool. It was always, Logic, you're trash. Yeah, like your music taste must be horrible and stuff. And then it's like, you gotta like, I felt like it was always a losing debate, It's like, oh, you like Logic? Well, prove why you should listen to him. And I remember I would have like a list of songs. Oh, you're sleeping on Logic. Listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. Because if you don't have that list, you're out of every music conversation ever. Like the second you start up, like, hey, I listen to Logic. You don't listen to music. That's what I felt like. That was the conversation. That's how you looked like when you were walking in at that time. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on just one thing with Logic I saw in the Theo Vaughn episode. He was talking about one of the big tragedies. Seth, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say the Incredible True Story. Like, dude, if I ever put somebody on Logic, which I have in the past, and I was bumping them in fucking high school, it's always the Incredible True Story, which is just a banger. Or it's
Seth put me on that. Seth showed me Incredible True Story, and I was just like mind blown.
You have no idea, Caleb.
Young Sinatra.
But this is what I was gonna say. I said, "What's your favorite Logic album?"
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, dude, man, that's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. I used to fight myself a lot. I mean, I remember when I started off with like the song Flexecution, so that was like Bobby Tarantino era. And I listened to The Incredible True Story when I was in high school as well, and then I got into Under Pressure. Bobby Tarantino, not everybody was after. But I mean, I would include it. Like that era up to everybody, that was just amazing. Like I remember thinking of music like a movie almost, because one thing I got to give props to when it comes to Logic is that he's not just creating like an auditory experience. Like this guy's creating an image in your head. He's creating settings, he's creating a lore, he's creating like plot points and songs that I don't really think has been expressed the way he goes about it. I think rap has always been a genre where it's always been about storytelling to some aspects in different artists, but for Logic to kind of go about it in a quote unquote nerdy way with like sci-fi and like, like modern, modern pop culture references like Quentin Tarantino and stuff, like it was very relatable as like a kid growing up and like, kind of geeking out on the same stuff that he was. It really felt special. And I think the best project that really showed that to me was The Incredible True Story. Yeah. I think you can't miss that.
For a concept album, it has to be in like top 10 concept albums. Like if we're just going to rate concept albums, I think Incredible True Story deserves to be there. It's a fucking journey. He takes you to space. He takes you to another planet, man. He takes you to paradise. And it's a really awesome journey to get there. Super cool. So if you guys haven't listened to any Logic, I know it's a little bit cringe. Listen to The Incredible True Story, dude. Listen to it from start to beginning and then give me your opinion. Okay. Don't talk to me about anything after Everybody, because that doesn't exist in my head. But he had some great songs. He had some great albums. And what I wanted to because I was gonna kind of I was gonna kind of dunk on him, Dio, because he was good. No, because he said in the Theo Vaughn episode that that his wife, because obviously I just gotta say, speaking as someone half Mexican, half American guy, when he broke up with Jessica Andrea, I was just devastated. I just thought this poor Mexican woman just had her fucking heart dumped by this bald guy named Logic, and it's just like, how can this even be happening? So I kind of got hard on him. And then I heard on top of that, he married a white girl that was 19 years old at 32. And I was like, shoo.
Dude, it doesn't look good, man, for
So
sure.
it's not looking good on his romantic side. But hey, he has good music. He's coming back.
He's coming back. I listened to some songs from his last album, College Park, or I think that's what it's called. There's some good songs on there. I like it. I feel like he's going back to his roots with the boom bap stuff. Yeah, like, I don't want to talk about his romantic life. Like, yeah, that shit. I mean, bro, I'm gonna be honest. Every time I see his wife now, I'm just thinking, damn, like, you still fumbled. You know, it's more about mitigation at this point. Like, your son better be looking nice, because if your son comes out ugly, it's a double whammy. Like, you messed up. The whole family is just like, you're gone, bro. Lord forbid the kid has the same hairline as Logic, or it's your fault. Like, if this guy starts balding at the age of like 25.
No, but I'm going to be straight up, dude. I want a serious answer. And Seth, I'm going to want to answer out of you too, because you're a music guy. Can Logic's son say the N-word?
Seth, you go first.
You know he's going to.
Seconds
You
to
know
come
he's
back, so
going
you
to.
go at it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't care. Like, I mean, he's probably going to, you know, with his homies at school, you know.
Hey, this is the universe saying Seth right now. He's probably dropping the N-word like
He's
5
probably
times.
dropping it right now. He's like, I've been saying it.
Hey, if I could say it, he could say it.
Homie rips off his shirt. It's like tatted on his chest. He's like, I've been repping it, man.
All right, Seth. Nice. Deo, what's your answer on that?
Dude, like, I think my opinion on this changed, actually. Like, I think the thing about Logic, it's like, I know he grew up in a very, undeveloped community in, like, really bad urban area in, like, Maryland and stuff. And I get how his dad's half black and, like, his dad's full on black. He's half black. And I know he uses that as reason to be able to say it. And honestly, like, if he wants to say it, he can. But I think this goes with the son as well, where it's like, you can say whatever you want, of course, freedom of speech, number one. And number two, if you feel comfortable with your crowd, you can say it. But you got to understand that there's going to be people that just it just doesn't look good, to the mass media or even the public. As much as you want to preach that you're black, you come from black ancestry, you have black, roots in you. At the end of the day, and this is fucked up, but I think you have to acknowledge it, people don't see black in you. They see white. And that comes with its own pros and it comes with its own cons. And one of the cons is that I don't think you could be saying the N-word like that, in the public. Now, if he's saying it with his friends, whatever, like, it's out of sight, out of mind. Like, I can't be there to always, like, be there to judge him on that. But, if you're going on podcasts and you're dropping it like you're, like, a rapper or something, like, you're going off. See, that changes the mood because it just doesn't look good. And he knows it doesn't look good, but he doesn't care because he's just trying to fight his own battle.
Right.
And I don't think he's looking at this holistically. So
I think the big thing with Logic is that he knows where he came from. He knows everybody that he's hung out with. He knows everyone that went to his high school, how they all looked, how they treated him. His whole life he felt, African American. He felt black his whole life. So that's why he was in that culture. But his son living in Hollywood with his white mom, I don't know. Hey, I don't know, man. Yep. I don't know if you can say it.
I mean, it's an argument for sure because he's a quarter black technically, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, what percentage are you like, yo, you just can't say it? I mean, it becomes a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope. But at the same time, me and Seth are only a quarter Portuguese, and I rep that shit like it's all of
and
me.
I be saying,
I'm like, yeah, I'm half Portuguese, half Mexican.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, you're not also dropping words like the N-word, to your homies and be like, hey, look at me, like you're doing that. That's something else. I think, and that's another thing about it. I don't think black culture is only the N-word. I think you can feel black, act black, be black without having to say that word. I think just because you don't use it, it doesn't mean that you're taking anything away from the person. It's just you're just understanding the social dynamic in the times that we live in. It's just different. It's just a different time. But I guess Logic just needs a little bit more time to understand that. Hey, I still love him. If he says it to me, I'll still dab him up out of respect. I don't want him to get upset.
Hey, what up?
But like, yeah, I'll be like, hey, what up, bro?
Hey, what up? Big fan, bro. My whole life, big fan.
Yeah, big fan. Thanks, dude. Are you dropping anything new? All right, let me hear it.
Oh,
first.
your last project. Loved your last project, bro. Love all the new shit. Love all the new shit.
Yeah, I loved your last project. Everybody, anything. He's like, I dropped something after. I'm like, oh, did you? I didn't listen to it. It's crazy, but everybody's fine. Let's keep it at that.
And also just shout out to everyone that didn't kill themselves because they listened to Logic. If that was you, good for you. And just because he flopped doesn't mean that you need to go through with it, there's people to call 1-800 hotline every time. Listen to that song. It's still a great song, and it can just take you off that cliff. Just take a couple steps back, man. For reals.
They robbed him on the Grammys.
They robbed him on the Grammy, bro.
Because Bruno Mars
Who got it?
24K Golden, freaking not 24K Golden. It was 24K Magic by Bruno Mars.
That was fire.
But like, dude, that's why I don't watch the Grammys anymore. I think that was just horrible.
I think I stopped watching it that same year, but I mean, just thinking back to 2016 Grammys, you had Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" lose against Macklemore's album, and it's just like, I mean, there's just no respect in the Grammys. You know what I mean? It's just like Macklemore. I wouldn't give a fuck if you never left Seattle and you just stayed there and died there. Like, you're irrelevant. Kendrick Lamar can be anywhere in the world, and people are going to think of him as the greatest rapper of all time. So the fact that he got like snubbed of that Grammy, throw the entire institution away, bro. For real. It's like, what is the award even worth if that isn't being rewarded?
It's a popularity contest, man. I think it's more about what gets the most people happy. I mean, same thing. I mean, personally, I love Cardi B. I think she's awesome. Did I think her album was better than Astroworld? Absolutely not. Travis Scott got snubbed, but I think, I don't know, it's just like back-to-back examples of, I mean, dude, this will become a music podcast, but damn, like, I just think the Grammys, I think it's all about making the masses happy. And yeah, sometimes I don't really think, I mean, I don't even know who the heck is even grading this. Like, who's really in the Academy listening to these projects and saying, hey, I think this is better than this? Because I want to see what their process is. Are they making lists? Are there billboards and whiteboards with like chalk and everything of them doing pros and cons of each song, doing lyrical analysis, cultural analysis, or is it just one dude in the back that just listens to it one time and goes, oh, this is fire, let's just pick this? Because if it is, man, like, I can do that. Why am I not in the Academy? Like, it really takes away the idea where it's like, where's your credibility and your choice to let this album say that this album's better than another? That's a whole different conversation, though. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're totally right when you're saying it's just all about popularity. It's just a popularity contest. And not only that, there's probably a lot of politics involved. I'm sure that if you really wanted the Grammy, you got to speak to the right people, a couple of days before, just making sure that they know your name, know that you're chill, because that's probably going to sway their vote a lot more than actually listening to the album. Is just getting able to like meet you and being like, oh, this guy's really nice. And just having those face-to-face interactions, just kind of pushing yourself and pushing your image and your own music on other people, just to make sure that they get that you get the recognition that you think you deserve. Absolutely. So I think the Oscars is the same way, where, we just have a huge, it doesn't make sense to us, right? Is that we live in 2023, they could put on Twitter, yo, best album of the year. Here's a poll. What do you think? That would be better than just allowing these random people in the entertainment to choose. Because I get, these guys are supposed to know about art because they're already in the music industry. So they're supposed to know what good music is. And I definitely don't think that the most popular music is the best music always, for sure not. But I think there should be some type of fans being able to vote on this, because we also know good music. I mean, we're the ones consuming this. We're choosing what's going to be the top of our charts, what's going to be the top Billboard charts. And I think a lot of people are just losing faith in these contests, because it just kind of feels rigged, and it doesn't feel like you're a part of it. So why even bother even watching them anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I'm more comfortable talking about music than movies, but I get what you're saying with the Oscars, because, and like, I don't mean to bring him up because of the situation that's happened recently with Amber Heard, but Johnny Depp, I heard, like, apparently he's never won an Oscar. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, his acting in Pirates of the Caribbean slaps, and maybe it's just because me, when I was young, like, maybe I thought that was the shit, but dude, like, I don't know, I've always thought he was an amazing actor, and I thought the movies were great. And, for me, it's hard. I guess for music, I guess you can understand the idea of, like, I guess you could talk about the composition and stuff, but with movies, it's like, I don't know, man, it's different, because I don't even know how to begin to explain how you're judging it. Are you judging it off of the directional, like the director's point of view, or like the angle usage, the use of dialogue, soundtracks, or is it personal experience, the emotional connection you have with it? I think when you start analyzing things like art in general, and you have a structure where you're trying to rank them, you're going to have issues because it's a matter of perception. That's like taking a bunch of art pieces from a gallery, putting them on a list and saying, oh, this art piece is better than this one because I like the colors in this. Well, somebody else could have a completely different outlook on how they grade that. And I think that's just what it comes down to. I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like a class thing as well, but I really don't relate to any of the choices that I see on the
I think it is a
Grammys.
class thing. I think it's a classist. Yeah, it's very classist. As in, when we think about, who actually wins in the Oscars, who actually wins in the Grammys, not as much in the music, but for sure the movies. It's definitely people that are looking for more of that artsy film. You'll never see Pirates of the Caribbean on Best Picture because for those people, they feel like it doesn't have any depth, doesn't have something deep that you can connect with. So they'd rather, give you something like, Midsummer or Hereditary, something that's no, because parents, no, but that's I was going to get to this point is that, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jaws, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, these are shakers of culture. They change the way we think about things. They get us all on this one mindset. We're all locked in at one moment. It's actually a crazy feeling when you see a movie like that. A movie that's so epic and so big takes you to another world that you get to experience with all these other people in the movie theaters. That's that movie magic that I think. I mean, I think there's definitely always artistic stories to be told in film. And, those stories don't necessarily need $100 million budget. They don't need explosions every 5 seconds. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that those explosions and those big blockbuster movies don't have value in society, because they totally do, man. Because those are some of the best movies that really just get you excited about life and just get you hyped up are those really awesome movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. Like, those are great movies, dude. Especially as a kid, you always got to have stuff for the kids. No kid wants to watch Hereditary. No kid wants to watch Ex Machina and realize, holy fuck, are we in a simulation? No, that shit's way too above their head. Give them some shit that they can fucking take and just be like, wow, this is awesome. And then it's good is when the parents are liking it too. Or the older brothers are liking it too. That's when you have a good movie. Is when the kids and the adults can both be vibing at the same frequency. That's fucking magic right there, dude. And I just think those are the types of movies that deserve some praise because, I mean, they get a lot of praise, but I just think those are the types of movies that I've always identified with. Those are the movies my grandma took me to as a kid. And those are the type of movies I want to make as a filmmaker in the future, for sure.
What I was going to say about Avatar, I mean, did you even mention Avatar?
I don't remember. But have you seen the new Avatar deal?
Yes, I have.
So, yeah, me and Caleb went to go watch Avatar, and that's one of the experiences that he's talking about. I mean, we really haven't had that experience where we're really eager to go out and watch a movie because really nothing has been that good. Like Marvel has kind of sucked. I mean, everything has kind of sucked.
Did you guys watch the movie in 3D, like the whole IMAX experience?
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, so me and Caleb, we went to go see it in this like 3D, this digital 3D that they have. I wanted to see it in 4DX, but they sold out. And dude, I was sitting there, and like, dude, I'm like, wow, movies have come so far. Because I just watched Babylon, or I don't know how to say it, with Brad Pitt. They just talk about the history of movies and shit, and like how far they've come.
Yeah, Babylon.
And it's like we live in a crazy time, man. And like we were in there, and I'm like, damn, this experience is fucking next level. Like this is like they had to bring this experience in for the movie theater industry to not die down because like everybody has flat screens now.
Oh yeah, we needed
fucking
that for
fire
sure.
ass homes, like this gives you the opportunity, especially 4DX. I saw Batman in 4DX. Crazy dope.
Have you had a 4DX experience, Nathen? Do you know what that is?
No, dude, I haven't. But the IMAX experience that I had with Avatar, like, dude, I'm kind of embarrassed, saying it now. I mean, not embarrassed, but I just think it's funny, like, a grown-ass man putting his hand out, trying to touch the, because I'm going to be honest, I thought I was getting hit by something, like when you see a bunch of trees and stuff. Like, it's crazy because, like, kids are like, no, really, kids are like, oh my God, mommy, wow, they're grabbing, and there's me right underneath them. Yo, this is crazy. Like, I'm grabbing vines and stuff. I'm over here thinking, like, I felt like a kid watching it, man. Like, it really revived that, and I didn't think I would feel that again. Because, like, I'm grown up. Like, you don't get that anymore.
3D's crazy.
Dude, seat back. I'm over here swinging. I'm like, whoa. Like,
and then you got grandpa in the back dodging, having Vietnam flashbacks and shit.
dude, PTSD. He's like, get down. He's like on the floor throwing popcorn. He's like, I gotta get out of here.
But no, yeah, I'm really glad that Avatar came out. I think as a culture, we needed something big, blockbuster that wasn't Marvel. Because, my big gripe with Marvel nowadays is I feel like the story is not the essential part. It's all about those comedic jokes that they put in. Do you guys remember? We grew up in the era, in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, the original Fantastic Four movies. Like, those were movies that nobody wanted to watch. No one wanted to watch a comic book movie. So what did they have to do? They had to get really good writers in there, really good story in there. It had to be a great story that could stand alone, even if you took out the Spider-Man part or if you took out the Fantastic Four. These were stories that didn't just rely heavily on, hey, this is Marvel, so we know you're going to buy it. It was actually the opposite. They knew because it was comic books, because it was Marvel, less people were going to watch it. So they had to make the movie so good that people were saying, have you seen that new Spider-Man movie? Have you seen Christopher Nolan's Batman movie? What Batman? I'm 40 years old. Why would I watch Batman? Because that shit just blew my mind, man. You got to go watch it. And then you go and watch it and boom, you have that experience. And nowadays with Ant-Man and everything, it's not the same. It's like they know they have the money already in the bag.
It's so diluted, man. It feels like a checklist more than it does feels like a movie experience. I'm not like, whenever they're leaking like a trailer for a movie, I'm not thinking, oh, yippee. I'm thinking, oh, shit. Like, I got to buy a ticket to get caught up on the story. Because like, if you miss 3 of those movies, you're done. You're out of the loop. Like, so many people died in those 3 movies. By the time you're watching the next one, you're like, holy shit. Like, I didn't know Ant-Man was, I didn't know Ant-Man died or something. I don't know what happened in this last movie. I swear, if it happened to be, I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to spoil or nothing. But it's like, yeah, I get you, because even some of the like Marvel movies, I'm gonna be honest, they have like characters in the movie that I don't even like. Like, I thought they were side characters, and then they get their own piece, and I'm like, I don't even like you. Like, why are you in this? Like, and that's the thing. They know they're gonna make the money, and I don't know, man. I kind of. My opinion on the Marvel movies are starting to change. I think right up to Infinity War and Endgame, I was a huge fan of it. I thought it made complete sense. I think it was honestly genius to link all the movies, But now, because what you were saying about the comedy stuff, it's very formulaic. And you're making it really hard for someone that really, like, I love Marvel, not for the comedic jokes and not for like some, there are some amazing action scenes in some of them. But in reality, like, I'm a huge plot guy, I want to see where the development's coming from. And when I go to movies and I feel like they're squeezing the plot to make the most out of it for that one movie, they're trying to break a storyline into 3 pieces because they want a trilogy. But the first movie just doesn't feel good. The second movie feels too rushed, and the third one just feels too jam-packed. Like, it's an issue. It's an issue. I hope they change that, because I'm not a fan. In contrast, Seth brought it up, the Batman movie, genius. I loved it. I thought it was an amazing movie. It was different from Christopher Nolan. It felt way more rugged, more violent. It was different. Marvel doesn't have that different thing for me anymore. It's just you're just catching up to the times.
Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're right about Marvel. I mean, you said until Endgame, but I honestly think, did you see Spider-Man No Way Home? Like, wow.
Oh, that was just like, I think my favorite movie, I mean, one of my favorite Spider-Man movies is No Way Home because of all the Spider-Mans. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's also different because Sony owns stuff too.
Yeah, but like Doctor Strange 2, I thought it was trash.
I'm sorry to whoever the Latina actress was in that movie. I support you. I stand with you. Thanks for the role. Why were you there though? Genuinely ask yourself. I felt like that. I felt like they wrote the entire movie and they said, you know what? We need a little bit of diversity. And they said, oh, I could add a character. And then they just went back and added her lines in. Like,
and they named her America. Bro! Like, what are you saying? Like, dude, America Chavez? That's something I would come up in the 2nd grade, homie. If they're like, pick a character, and like name her. I'd be like, America Chavez.
America Chavez. Mexican people don't even call America America. Should have been Estados Unidos Chavez, if anything.
Facts, bro. I mean, see, here's the thing, though. Like, I don't know how close this is to the comic books, because if Stan Lee wrote that character in, fine.
He did.
But I thought it was so corny once, like, America punches the dimensions and it makes a star symbol. Like, shut the fuck. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? And then I think I had one of my friend's girlfriends saying that this is a whole thing on immigration. You know, because she's jumping through dimensions and, like, you know, borders and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, we're going into something that's completely dark off of a Marvel movie, dude. Like, think about it, man. It sucks. It sucks.
Exactly, dog. I'm trying to escape my life. You know, I don't want to fucking think more when I go to a Marvel movie. It's supposed to be escapism. It's supposed to be having a good, fun time, not reevaluating the border crisis.
Facts, man. Like, you're watching Doctor Strange 2 to have a good time, and you're coming back, you know, talking to your grandma about her story crossing the border because you're getting flashbacks of the hard life back there, man. Like, dude, it's not right, man. I don't know. I just, that was just one movie. I didn't like the Eternals. I saw Wakanda Forever. I thought it was cool. Shang-Chi was good. No Way Home was good. So there's gems.
So
but the fact that you have to filter to get them.
That's what it seems like nowadays. I mean, think about it. If a movie flopped back then when Fantastic Four 2 Silver Surfer, it was pretty good and it still didn't do well. So boom, the whole franchise is cut. Now you could have 5 flops in a row and they'll say, oh man, that character's not doing so well. Let's give him a Disney Plus original and then hopefully everyone will like him again. You know, it's like, It just really just seems like they're willing to just, you know, milk this cow, beat this horse until it's dead, you know? And it sucks because we love Marvel. And now,
I love Marvel, dude. I think it's amazing.
Dude, think about all of this shit was written during a post-World War II era, during the psychedelic era. People are coming up with all of these crazy ideas about Silver Surfer, the multiverse. You know, it's like all of these things are crazy ideas. And we're just trying to milk them until they're gone rather than actually them out, really develop these ideas with a 21st century mindset and just make great movies. But I feel like, you know, it's all about money nowadays and it's all about just keeping the check coming every single month.
Dude, that's crazy that you say that. Because like literally stories and that's how we know our past, through stories, you know? Like if something happened, the next generation to come, it's stories, bro. You tell them stories, you write down stories. Stories are everything, dude. And a lot of these stories about the past, the Bible, they're all just like metaphors. You know, they're like almost like just kind of they it's a story that represents something else, something greater than what it's actually saying. And I mean, nowadays, just like today, we've been writing stories through our whole time, you know, as being humans and stuff, our whole, you know, throughout the beginning of time for us. Yeah. And nowadays we're just so advanced and complex, and we're able to write these crazy ass stories just like Spider-Man, and it's just the same way, same thing, you know. It's a story, it's a great story, it has a different meaning behind it, you know. Great power comes great responsibility, all this shit.
Even though this guy has web slinging abilities, at the very end of the day we can identify with the fact that he's human, you know. What were you saying, Dio?
Oh, no. I was just going to say, like, dude, no, you guys make a really great philosophical point on that, and I feel bad to, like, kind of make it lighthearted again. And I didn't know. This is a comedy podcast. Don't worry, dude. This is a comedy podcast, dude. Back then, I felt like when movies were trash, it felt personal, you know? Like, I felt like the director was like, fuck, like, I really dropped the ball on this, you know? Like, I remember, like, when a movie really sucked, it felt like I wasn't even in the movie, and I felt it like I was a cast member. That way, they would be like, nah, that movie was garbage. You know, the cast members would kind of look the other way, and paparazzi because like, yeah, I guess it is trash. Now it's like, I feel like, I don't know if it's the directors, but I feel like everybody just knows because of how much money Marvel's going to make. They're fine shitting the bed, dude. Yeah. Because they know that they're still going to make money.
It's like, it doesn't even matter if the movie's trash. Like, you'll still see, like, you know, 9 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, because it's like, you know, that they just buy people to review it or something. You know, there's some type of money exchange to make sure that it's actually not technically flopping. And people, a lot of times, they just go on Rotten Tomatoes. Is that movie good? Oh, 9 out of 10. It's good. I'll go watch it. Boom. Marvel made their money. You know, they bamboozled another Marvel fan.
Yeah.
And I think a big problem does come to all the Marvel fans is because they kind of were just so excited that, like, you know, the stuff that they used to get, this is definitely like more of the Gen X and the older generations, is that they used to get, you know, shoved in lockers for liking Spider-Man. And now it's like a major thing. So they want to like go out there and be like, yo, yeah, I'm Spider-Man. But I don't think they were hard enough on actually Disney and Marvel to be like, yo, make good movies. You know, this is not how it was done. And all they want to talk about is, well, excuse me, but Spider-Man wasn't black, so why are we doing Miles Morales? Excuse me, but this Wakanda Forever doesn't actually make sense because the sister actually never it's like they just want to talk race politics instead of actually being like, bro, that story low-key trash. Like, we should have went with a different story. There's 10,000 more Marvel stories that are better than that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's why I like that they're doing the MCU. You know, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, it's not necessarily, it's based off the comics, but it's not an exact replica of what the comics are. You know, so we're able to make those changes, and we're able to do this dope shit like Spider-Man No Way Home, where we just throw in Tobey Maguire, and you know, and like literally, I'm so hyped for this fucking Miles Into the Spider-Verse, bro. This new one coming out, like that is another movie that's gonna probably connect some things and grow some big realizations.
Dude, okay, I remember what I was gonna say. The same thing that you were bringing up about Marvel, dude. There's a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out this Friday, tomorrow.
It's already
Right?
out.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like it?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
No,
Oh, okay, dude. That movie, it's so funny because I think people are still getting crammed in lockers for playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know, I'm a grown ass dude. I remember in college, like, we used to play this a couple of times. Like, yeah, we had a lot of fun with our friends. Like, hell, you're gonna catch me in public, you know, wearing a D&D merch or like wearing like a shirt or like something that says like roll a D20 or something. You know, even like right now, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. I felt nerdy doing it, bro. And like, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so funny to see how like something that's so, you know, at one point it was very like ridiculed and very like joked, you know, it was very laughed at, you know, it was just a funny thing and very nerdy, like LARPing or something. And now we got movies being made off of it.
Yeah.
And I kind of noticed like it's like a cultural thing. They're like, hey, what do the nerds like? Pick that up, you know? There's a World of Warcraft movie that came out a couple of years ago. Bro, really? Like, people used to play World of Warcraft back when they were living in their basements, and they would get clowned on for, like, you know, dedicating time to doing dungeons and stuff. And now it's, like, cool. Like, oh, yeah, you know, I play video games. And all. It's just funny. It's a weird shift that I've noticed as well.
I think it just came down to the fact that they're like, you know what? These nerds will pay money to go see this. And they're like, we haven't been making money off of these guys, and we totally got to. And now the money's caught up to the popularity of it. What's going on, Seth?
True.
Yeah, and let me say this, like, that's only been in a 20-year span. You know what I'm saying? That's what's crazy. We've changed that much as a civilization as a whole in 20 years. You know? Like, back in the
20
day,
years,
and I'm
what
not
are
even
you
talking
talking about 20
I'm talking
years?
like, that's just a reference number. You know,
Because 20 years ago, it was 2003.
Years. Okay, yeah. I'm talking 90s. That's what I'm talking, 90s. So right when like the iPhone kind of came out, we all had the flip phones. We had the iPhones, you know. We were still pretty social, and we are like, holy shit, this thing is dope, you know. And now we're at a completely different phase. Once technology hit, it completely changed our personality and how the kids acted. They didn't act like their parents anymore. You know, they were they liked games. They liked the phones. They liked all these technological advancements, you know, and they were accustomed to it, and it grew on them. And it changed their personalities, you know, and that's how, and we changed a lot.
Yeah. I guess, are you trying to say almost, you know, think about this back in the 80s and the 90s, if you had a computer, you like working on audio equipment and stuff like that, you were an AV club, that was a nerdy thing to be part of. And now in 2023, everybody takes videos, everybody records audio, everybody watches TV and plays video games. That was something the nerds used to do back then. So I guess what Seth's trying to say is, as we've gotten more technologically advanced and everyone's on this tech stuff, there's almost like nerdiness and tech are almost like intertwined. So the whole society kind of got a little bit more nerdy. And that's why we're more willing to like watch stuff like comic book movies and watch a movie like Dungeons and Dragons or play Dungeons and Dragons. I guess that's really true. The nerds that invented all of the technology that we love, their technology achievement definitely kind of shifted cultural for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point.
Sorry. Like literally we are shedding our skin. You know, like as these time goes by, it's like looking back at history is proof, like to show what we do as humans, how we grow. You know, we're shedding our skin, as in like we're becoming more vulnerable. You know, back in the day in the 90s, everybody was tough, hard, you know, like a guy was a guy and a girl was a girl. That's how it was. You know, a girl was like this girly girl. I'm not saying that all girls are like that. Definitely not. But, and the guys were just more just, you know, the guys, they're dudes, you know what I mean? And like, and nowadays we're tapping into that feminine side. We're balancing out, you know, we're balancing out as a species. We're realizing we are the same and we need each other. And like, we shouldn't feel all so different because of masculinity and all the ways that we feel and think, and that we shouldn't share these thoughts that we have because we're guys, you know, that when we're growing up. And that's why mental health, depression, all this stuff, you know, is being talked about more because we're being able to express our feelings, you know, and that's a good thing. And that's why we are constantly growing as a species.
I totally agree with that stuff. Yeah, I totally agree with that,
man.
For sure. And especially when it comes to like back in the day, how you're saying like guys were guys and girls were girls, like definitely not everyone was like that. But if you weren't like that, you were ridiculed. You know what I mean? It's like, it was so much harder to be different back then. Being different meant you were bad. Nowadays, you can be different and that means good. You know, so different can sometimes mean good now. You know, just because you're different than the entire society doesn't mean you need to be ostracized, doesn't mean you need to be not listened to. You know, difference can actually have some good points, and maybe we need to listen to them more to actually get a more well-rounded experience, because we're really just trying to answer the question, you know, what is the best way to make the most amount of people happy? You know, like what's the best way to make everyone feel comfortable here in this, like this earth, you know? And if you're just constantly in a tribal mindset where you're saying, you know, don't be different, you have to be the same as everyone else, that's going to allow for a lot less growth, a lot less new ideas to be developed. So when we are allowing these more acceptance of different people and different backgrounds, it does make sense why it's actually changing the way that we watch TV, changing the way of the stuff that we're interested in. Like, think about it nowadays, like so many people are into anime, like Japanese stuff, or like I just watched probably my favorite television show of all time called Rami, and it's about a Muslim American dude. And back then, like, you know, even in like the post 9/11, like no one wanted to hear a Muslim story. But now we have that ability that we can say, holy crap, this is actually some amazing stories. This is something I never knew about. And if you haven't watched Rami out there, I know Deo could speak to it. One of the best shows on TV. Like if you like the show Dave, it's a better version of Dave, to be honest. And it just shows that there's so many human stories that we haven't learned. But not on top of that is there's so many human stories that we haven't connected to. Like when you watch Rami, even though I'm not Muslim, I don't know a lot of Muslim, I don't live on the East Coast where the show takes place, but I can relate and feel to what he's going through on such a empathetic level. I can feel what he feels, even though we have so much differences, because at the end of the day, we share that common human spirit. We share that common human experience where we're all on this earth together trying to figure it out, especially trying to figure it out here in America. So I think it's only going to bring more blessings. Sure, we're going to have someone like America Chavez. That happens, and I'm telling you now, guys, that happens when white people write minority characters. And that's what happened in that movie. You have white people writing minority characters. What Rami is, it's him writing his own story. It's his brothers and his cousins and his friends writing those stories together. It's actually genuine, and that's why it hits so different. It's so much better. And that's what we need in life. Yep. You can't just throw a couple of minorities. You can't just put a Mexican on screen and it's going to be a good movie. No, we need to infiltrate the entire process. We need to be the filmmakers. We need to be the screenwriters. We need to be, even the craft services. We need to be everything. There is room for all of us in these spaces. And the more we exclude people, the more we're going to have bad content, like something like America Chavez, is because we're only putting it on face value. We're putting them on screen so everyone think, wow, this movie is really diverse. But then you look at the editors, you look at the screenwriters, they're not reflecting what the story that they're trying to tell. So it never hits. It doesn't give you that emotional connection. And that's why when we're really going, we're going to keep on growing. Everyone's saying, hey, we're already at this super diverse state. No, there's more jobs for people to be in that are going to completely reshape the industry and make content so much better. So I think that's kind of the process we're in. We're just in that process right now where a lot of people want to see themselves on screen, as in different minorities and different types of stories. They want to see it. But at the same time, we still got the old guard behind the production that are shaping the stories, and they're choosing how we get shown on TV. And not until we get to choose how we're portrayed on TV that we're going to be able to actually make some serious change. And people are doing it, like Rami, like for real. Like that's a great show. Watch it. It's heartfelt and it feels authentic and it feels amazing. And I think if we have more of that in the future, we're going to have way more better content, way cooler stories to talk about.
Dude, wow. That was really good. That was awesome. No, yeah,
dude.
I've seen the show Rami, and I thought it was a great show. Like, I could really relate to someone like that. You know, just growing up and like the way his story about being, his family being immigrants. He's born in America, and he's trying to balance, his old traditions and culture from the past, with his past family, and then his new society that he's living in now in America. And like, it's amazing. It's to see how much you can relate, especially as someone like me. I think it's a very similar story with my family. My mom and dad immigrated here. I was born here, and balancing old school cultures and traditions with the new world things that we see. It's crazy. And honestly, it's really interesting to also get an insider scoop of a Muslim person living in America. And, I'm not trying to say I'm like Rami or anything, but I know now it's like I learned so much. I feel like of Rami and even his culture and stuff. I see someone eating pork, and I'm like, that's haram, like I'm over here using terminology. And so saying good job, I'm like, mashallah. And dude, like my mom and my dad actually deadass asked me if I was Muslim a couple of days ago because I say it so often. Like I don't know why. Before watching Rami, never noticed like Ramadan starting or anything. For some weird reason, I looked at my calendar. I was like, oh yeah, it's the start of Ramadan. And I went to my family and I was like, hey, happy Ramadan. Like we're starting it's starting. My family's like, why do you care? I'm like, I just can't say it, like it's just crazy, bro. It's crazy. I love that show, man. I feel like it's changed me for the better. Like
I think it's needed. Cool it's needed, especially in this country. We've had such terrible Islamophobia. We're almost scared to think of anything Muslim. We don't want to hear that word. No, that is a terrible, that is the, when we're talking about government, faith in the government, that is government propaganda right there. That is us, because we were at war with them a couple of years ago. The government did everything they can to just show these types of people as the enemy. Really, in reality, they're just like us. We're all the same. Just like nowadays, you'll go to Vietnam and everyone's happy to see you. They don't hold a grudge. But here in America, it's harder for us to get to stop that grudge. Even though we're usually the aggressors in almost all of the situation, we have a society that's really pro-military. So if someone's our enemy, we make the entire group of people our enemy, which is a terrible mindset to have as a country that's multicultural. If we're going to be a country that's a melting pot, that we have to be able to recognize that we're all human. There's something innately common that we all share. And that's why we can have a country like America where we can all be vibing together. I mean, obviously there's going to be some bigoted people, but you find communities where everyone's just happy to be with each other. Everyone's allowing each other to be them most authentic selves. And I think just as a society, we have to realize that everybody out in the world, we can relate to them. So we don't have to be going out there and, just keeping these propaganda stories just in the consciousness of our culture, because a lot of them it's just pro-military propaganda. It's just because we wanted to go to war so that the rich could benefit. But at the same time, real people died for that, and real people are still being, because of the consequences, are still feeling the effects of that. So I just think that show was needed for Americans because it definitely just gave you a different perspective on what it is to be a Muslim. You know what I mean? Because we don't have that experience. We've never seen that on TV. I can't think of any show that's ever been like that. That's why it was so revolutionary to me.
I feel the effects of Islamophobia going to the airport. I'm not even Muslim.
I would love to hear about that. What was your experience growing up as Indian? I feel like all of the Punjabi people and all the Indian people in my hometown, they always got ridiculed for being Muslim. And I'd always be like, these guys aren't Muslim. They're Indian. Why are you guys such fucking bigots?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dude, growing up like Indian, like first of all, I used to be called like terrorist. And I'm like, dude, wrong area. It's like educating these people almost, because they'd be like, oh, like, they'd crack jokes like, oh, look, it's Osama. I'm like, bro, wrong continent. Like I would bring, part of me was like, maybe I should bring a globe and be like, this is where I am. This is where they are. We're not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just funny. And even like being Hindu and stuff, like growing up, like I used to like, dude, it's crazy with the vegan stuff now. People are like, oh, it's cool to go vegetarian. Homie, when I said I didn't eat beef when I was in elementary school, I started beef. People would fucking come to me and be like, hey, like, what's your issue? You're a cow hugger? You're a cow kisser? I'm like, no, I just don't eat it, man. Like, I don't know how people got so extreme about it. Like, the second, it was so weird. Like, people would be like, oh, dude, like, I remember, like, they would put a hamburger in front of my face and be like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Dude, nothing. I'm just not going to eat
Deo,
it,
Dude,
like,
look at that's fucked up, bro. Those moments are what shape you, and it's like, dude, those people are so evil, man. They get attracted to good people. Evil
Seth, I'm
energy
fucked up,
gets
man.
attracted
I
to
need
positive
help.
energy. And no, bro,
Yeah.
you talking about these things and realizing these are the source of these things, and this is why this is the case, but that's not true. It's because there was ignorant kids, people that you shouldn't believe in or listen to, that were telling you these things. And you didn't believe it, but you're just like, feeling like that certain way that you don't want to feel. And that's why you have
Dude,
to grow up and
absolutely.
realize those kids are idiots. They probably look back, and hopefully they look back and are like, damn, I was such a bitch. I was a jerk. You know what I mean? Because, dude, that shit, you got.
Dude, it was a whole journey, dude. Like, I went to Christian school as a kid, and like, it was interesting because like everybody knows I'm not Christian, and like I remember like we'd go to field trips and stuff. I remember there was a section where they taught about other religions and Christianity, and they went to the Hindu chapter. Everyone's looking at me. I'm like on the hot seat, and I'm just like, okay, here we go. And then like the teacher's like, oh, this is Hindu mythology. And I rose my hand. I'm like, it's actually not a mythology. It's actually a practicing religion, in like a lot of parts of the world. It's not like, Greek religion. I mean, not Greek, but Greek mythology, And I was like, it's not really a dead religion. And they're like, oh yeah, but we just mean it in the sense where it's like, it's not really real. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're just gonna, okay. I was like, hey, it's fine. It's fine. It's chill. But yeah, dude, like I remember now, it's funny. I still go to school. I have another Indian guy in my cohort. He's like, oh, I don't eat meat. Everybody's like, oh, make sure there's a vegetarian option for him. Make sure there's a vegetarian option for Rahil. I'm over here looking at him. I'm like, dude, I used to change my last name to get out the hot seat. I used to be like, dead ass. I remember in high school, I would just, because I kind of looked Mexican or Hispanic, I was in the area, Downey, it's a very Hispanic area. I just tried to be like, oh, my name's Nathen Lopez. I'm from Mexico City and I'm Catholic. And it was really funny because my experience in Christian school would make me more believable as a Christian. They'd be like, oh yeah, you read the Bible? I'm like, yeah, my favorite chapter is Luke. I fuck with Luke hella. I'd hella drop the disciples and shit. I'm like, that fisherman story with Jesus, you don't believe the fish come, when you just believe in the idea that things are gonna happen. People be like, wow, like this guy's really practicing. And I would like dead ass just fake it and stuff, but that got me out of the hot seat. It's just funny now, somebody could be like, oh, I'm vegan. It's like the world stops for some people. Oh my God. Is there anything we can get you? Like, if we're at a party, do you eat this? Do you eat that? And then I love how they gave him more picky. Oh, is there egg in there? I don't eat egg. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, let me make you a new dish. I remember I would tell people like, I don't really feel it. They'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, all right, just start eating, because it's like, what are you going to do? I didn't want people to make different foods and stuff, but it's crazy. It's just crazy.
It really is crazy. How much? I don't know if this is just something all kids are going with. Like, I wonder if an Indian kid today is still getting made fun of for that same thing. Is it kids just being dumb because we're just dumb kids? Or has society really changed that much? I wonder. Nope. I really wonder.
Dude, trust me, I used to watch kids.
I have little cousins.
Yeah, I used to watch kids.
Yeah, but you watched a bunch of white kids in Pismo.
No, but listen, I mean,
so it's not necessarily like
a lot of sixth graders, and like, dude, once they're in sixth grade, you already see kind of what the person that they're becoming. There's they're forming, and like that's what Wyatt is kind of talking about with school, and he's kind of on the side. I mean, I don't want to talk. I'll talk about Wyatt. He's the homie, but he's on the sides right now if he wants to take Jack to school or have him be homeschooled, because he just knows that this world is just so fucked, and like it really can shape somebody and put somebody in a box that had so much light and was just being themselves, and they had to stop that to fit in, and then Wyatt doesn't want that to happen for Jack. And I'm just like, I feel you, but
I think
it's just a hard
depends,
topic.
Dude. Yeah, it is a hard topic, but I think at the same time though, and I'm not trying to counter your point. I'm just saying, like, Caleb, you brought up a point, like, do you think institutions have really been more accepting towards this? Like, I remember, like, now, I go visit my cousins at elementary school and stuff, and I think it's really cool that, like, yeah, there's a vegetarian option for kids that don't
Wow.
want to eat meat. That itself is a huge change, because for me, I remember going to the teacher, like, hey, is there something that's non-meat? They used to send me out like I was banished, down the stairs in the back of the kitchen, and they give me some fucking tomato soup. I'd be like, all right, like this is my life. I used to feel like an outcast, trying to get different options for food and stuff. And I'm not saying just because there's food options, I mean, school doesn't have its issues. I completely understand how there would be issues in certain schools schools and stuff like that. But at least in terms of food and the idea of, like, well, then again, I think it's different. Private schools are different, especially if you go to like a religious private school. I think there's still a little bit, it's still a little bit awkward, which I think is more understanding. Not saying it's acceptable, but I can see where that's coming from. But public schools, at least, I don't think that, at least as a kid, and I think seeing my cousins and stuff, I don't think they're really getting shunned in that aspect of religion. I don't think practice really comes up in a public school, unless maybe you're kind of like having that conversation already with friends. But I don't think nobody comes up to you like a gang member, like, hey, where are you from? What do you practice? I don't think it's like that. I think it's very much more open, and I think with options for food and stuff, I think, yeah. Dude, for the education, man. And like, I think there's like a huge thing. I think I don't know. I start off being a stereotype, but I kind of see where they're coming from. I don't think that private schools give you a better education, which is what my parents believed. I think private school offers a specific education. I think if you want something that's more, not strained, but more specific and more honed in on a specific agenda, I think it's very much something that private schools offer. Rather, public schools, I think, is more broad, giving a general sense of education compared to like other schools you may go to. But my parents at the time believed that, like, going to private school would be better for me. And I kind of don't think that it made a difference. I think the things that my friends learned in elementary school is the same as what I learned in elementary school at the time. I think it was mostly about the unique aspect of my upbringing in that school was the religious aspect. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, so even though you were learning like normal stuff like math and stuff, they would just have like a time for you to like learn about the Bible for like maybe like a couple, or was it like the Bible was constantly part of the whole education?
Dude, man, no, we had Bible class at the beginning of each day. And I remember, like, when I first entered the school, I didn't know how to navigate through a Bible. When someone was like, go to Matthew 23:22 or something, I thought, number one, whenever I saw a colon, I would think that, oh, that's time, And I'm like, 23:22, what does that mean? I would try to go to the Bible to see page 2322. It's not there, whatever. So it was definitely like, it was interesting for sure. Like, going in and stuff, like, Bible class was pretty much mandatory every day. It was just a core class. It was the same thing as math, science, social studies, Bible class. Bam, you just learn about God or whatever. And you learn about different mythologies or like different religions and stuff. We go to church every Friday, listen to Christian Kids Bop, and like, sing and clap and like pray and stuff. It's crazy, dude. Like, did I ever tell you the time I had to pray with my principal, with my friends in church?
No, what the heck?
Dude, okay, check this out. So one time, like, this was like maybe like 6th grade or whatever, like, I remember I started off watching Animal Planet, and I found out about like the whole term of sex. I found out what that was. The whole time the idea was kids come out of belly buttons. I remember I went to school and I was like, dude, no, you don't get it. Like, your parents are getting it on. And I remember, like, I would tell these innocent little kids, like, you guys need to watch some Animal Planet, because that's how I found out. I was like, because they would tell me like, Nathan, you're lying. My mom told me I came out of her tummy or whatever. I was like, no, homie, watch Animal Planet. So I remember like one week we're all watching Animal Planet. We'd come back and they'd be like, dude, this is crazy. I'm like, then I was like, you know what? Check this out. I'm gonna teach you guys how to cuss, because I found out how to cuss from other people. And I remember, like, when we used to play tag and someone would fall, like, oh, you're a loser. Like, oh, man, that's not fair. I remember me, hey, fuck you. Like, I would say it straight up. And kids would, and it's a bad word, because kids would stop in their tracks and be like, did he say that? And I'd be like, no, like, it's okay. It's just English. Say it. Like, call me a bitch. And like, these kids would be like, oh, you're a bitch. Like, there you go. Dam me up. You know, like, I would have like, all of a sudden, like, we'd be like, you know, tag, you know, innocent tag little kids. And then like, you'd just hear the occasional, fuck you, or like, you're a bitch. And then we learned like, if you stack words, oh, then that's an offense. Like, you know, like your mom's a fucking bitch whore. Oh, whoa. Now you're dropping 3 words back to back to back. You know, you might as well, you know, this isn't Christian school, you know? And these kids don't know much about it. I remember I'd go home and I'd learn up words like, you know, what does this mean? What does that mean? Yeah, dude, I'd rally it up. I'd be like, you're a fucking whore. We would just drop bombs. One time, like the principal hears us because we're in the playground and we're playing freeze tag. We touched this kid right in front of the principal. So he's staying still. And he all he can do is just move his mouth. He just goes, your mom's a whore. Fucking bitch. The principal's like, what? And she comes like, who taught you that?
That's like South Park.
All the kids just point at me. And I'm like, no way. I'll do dead ass like South Park. Like, I remember looking at them like, you guys are fucking snitches. And like, she rallied the whole friend group. All of you guys, go to church now. I'm like, holy shit. We go to church. Empty. It's just us. One light. You know, it's like a fucking interrogation room. She sits down. She's like, look, I feel like you guys have been influenced by the devil. I feel like you guys have like some demonic influences on you. I feel like you guys may have been straying away from the path. I would like to pray with you guys to ensure that we're going back to the right way that we should be in our name, Lord Jesus Christ. At the time, I'm like, what the hell? And all the kids are shaking, you know, because we're getting scared. This is like detention almost. We're like, dude, yeah. Like, I remember I was like, I've been hella touched by the devil. Like, we got to get out of here. You got to help me. You know, because at that point, it's over. You got to admit it. You know, you can't lie because everybody heard it. And so we're praying.
That's scary.
We're praying. I remember closing my eyes and like, you know, all the kids like nudging each other because they're sitting next to each other. And my kid, you know, the guy next to me, Nathan Faulkner, he's a cool guy. He's nudging the side of me and I'm giggling and stuff. Principal stops praying. I'm quiet. I'm like, you know, like I'm just hella into it. I'm pretending. We pray and everything. We go outside and it's so funny. Like the principal leaves. Nathan Faulkner looks at me. He just goes, what a fucking bitch. And I'm like, yeah, we just went back to just playing tag. And we were just joshing around, you know, having a good time.
That's
like, yeah,
lit.
dude. But it was just shit like that. It was crazy, dude. Like, it's just like unique, you know, elementary stories that you get when you go to private school, man.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's just weird.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Me and Seth both just kind of grew up like slightly Christian, like our parents, I guess. I guess our grandparents are Christian, but we like didn't go to church, nothing. Like the only experience we had with Christianity was like going to Bible camp. And like that was like such an awesome experience because it was just camp. So we were just like, dude, God is actually lit. Like this shit's lit. Like, whatever you guys
This is
think,
fun.
I agree with it because I want to come back next year. Like I want to come back next year. So like, yeah, I'll say whatever. I want to come back.
Like,
Dude. You know what I mean? So I can see the same way as
The
you, just
food
being
there,
like
homemade.
just being there.
Yeah, dude, I remember one time, like, we were in chapel. One dude straight up gets on the speaker, grabs the mic. You know, he's a guest speaker, hella charismatic. You know, he's really into it. He goes, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're going to hell. And the whole church goes silent. And I start bugging because when I first started school, like, I didn't know anything like this, right? So I'm like, I'm thinking at the time, I'm like, am I going? Like, is it me? Is he talking to me? You know, and he's like, I remember he said this example. He's like, have you ever heard a guy stub his toe? You notice how he doesn't scream, oh, Buddha or Krishna? He screams Jesus Christ because that's the one true savior. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's true. I've never seen a guy, you know, hurt himself and scream like Allah or something, you know, like nobody does that. And at the time, I'm like, dude, this guy's dropping bombs. And I remember the friend next to me at the time, he knew I wasn't a Christian. I asked him, like, bro, am I going to hell? He just looks at me. He goes, I don't know what to say, man. And I'm like, fuck, he might as well just could have said, like, I'm going to hell. You know, because he's confused too, because I'm pretty sure his parents were telling him the same thing. Like, this is the right way of life.
He's like, my best friend Deo, he's such a nice guy, but I think he might go to hell.
I felt like everybody in my section of that chapel bench were looking at me because, you know, everybody's thinking I'm safe. What about Nathan? You know, they're looking at the brownest kid at the block. They're like, yeah, this kid, I don't know if he's going to make it. I'm pretty sure the principal even knew because I even saw her even looking at me sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, I'm just a kid, you know? I remember going home. I'm like, Mom, Dad, like, they're saying I'm going to hell. And my dad's like, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Next day, they reiterate it. You know, they're like, oh, I just want to remind you guys, if you don't believe, you're going to hell. Classroom's looking at me. I'm like, dude, it was awkward for sure, man. Like there's some moments where
That's
it's like
demon shit, bro.
it's just funny.
Did they ever want to like learn about your religion or anything like that, or were you curious about that at the time or not?
Caleb, what do you think? You think somebody was like, "Hey, let Nathan speak. Hey, Nathan. Hey, why don't you speak about Hinduism? I'm really interested." Dude, you might as well say like you're in the Matrix or something, bro. No way. You think the teacher or anybody else would be like, "Oh my God, here's another opinion on the religion. Let's give him the mic." Dude, homie, hell no. They're like, sit your ass down. If you're not conforming or converting, then shut up. Like, it was very simple. And like, dude, but to be fair though, as bad as it sounds or the way I'm making it seem, I made amazing friends.
Yeah,
like one of my close friends, his name's Matthew, we actually reconnected over the after the pandemic, and I actually had a chance to hang out with him for his birthday.
Dope.
Amazing guy. His friends are dope. His parents, they still remember me. They hugged me and stuff. I just felt like the school curriculum and the way they went about it sometimes made me feel like an outsider. But in terms of friendships and stuff, no, I was fine.
Dope.
Everybody accepted me nicely. Like I never had an issue with it. I think and that's why I wouldn't say it was like a bad childhood or anything. It wasn't like a bad experience. It was a unique experience because I think at a very young age I realized that
Balanced.
Religion in some senses could be weaponized if you're not really careful on how you talk about it, and that it's not just what people make it seem to be sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just a balance. Like what Seth said, it's a balance. I know that this is not how I don't know how we shifted from Marvel, but like
we could shift somewhere. Let's talk about Europe. Dude. Deo just went on a European trip. I haven't heard any of the details about it. I know zero information about what he did out there.
Put a we can do part 2. We don't want to because we don't want to spill all of the stories. For one episode.
Yeah, but I want to. Deo just went to Europe.
I definitely want to keep going. But I just wanted to ask, what time are we at?
We're at an hour and 30, bro.
Oh, hour and 30.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, Caleb, like what you
going.
can do is like, of course, snip this part out, but you could do part 1 with like logic, Marvel, and like maybe religion, and then the second part could just be Europe. Because I mean, I'm sure you would want to share your stories as well. I don't think it'll just be me dropping anything. I feel like you would also want to share and like try to relate and stuff. And I'm pretty sure, like Seth,
what?
Have you?
We can even end it off on Europe.
No, yeah. We'll end it after Europe, I guess. But at the conversation's still flowing. Unless you got somewhere to go.
Yeah, the conversation's flowing.
I'm good,
like literally,
Yeah, let's go.
I got a fidget
when I
spinner.
said
I'm
that,
ready.
I wasn't
we can
trying to stop it or nothing.
Yeah, a lot of our episode have been around an hour, so maybe Seth was just a little concerned, like, are we going over? But no, I always envisioned these conversations going on as long as we felt comfortable. So I'm down to edit a 3-hour podcast. I don't give a fuck.
Totally
I'll put it on TV. I'll edit it and I'll put it up. I don't think we need to get a part 2.
Sure.
I was just
so yeah.
Honestly,
like,
let's just get the recording done, and then from there you can chop it up the way you wish. Like, go about it the way you feel comfortable with. Like, there's a lot of content in this. Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, we're doing great, dude.
No, yeah, we're doing
this
great.
This is fun. This
Heck
is
yeah.
awesome.
I'm glad that you're on, dude. Thank you so much for being on. It's just such a great bread. I know you just went to Europe for a grad program trip, right? Kind of like a study abroad through the grad program. So how was that experience?
Yeah, just to give some context on it. So I'm currently getting my master's in business administration at my college. And the way it works is that we, at some point in the second year, we have to travel to another country and we have to learn pretty much business, like business practices over there. And we go visit companies and stuff. So the destination that was picked for our year was Switzerland, specifically Zurich. But the way it went about it was I went around, I was talking to some friends and stuff, and all of us decided to go, I think a week before we were supposed to get to Zurich and travel Europe. So that would be like 2 days in London, 2 nights in Paris, and then a couple days in Rome, I think 3 days in Rome. So that was really cool. I actually went with a couple friends. It was really fun. And yeah, that was my first European experience, dude. Like, I remember, just the whole story and stuff, like getting on the plane and stuff. I was watching a lot of like television. I remember like I would, because for me, I knew like British people. Okay, so my first stop was London.
Right.
And we were gonna stay there for 3 days, 2 nights, and that was also New Year's. We were gonna celebrate New Year's in London as well.
That's so
it was
cool.
like kind of hype. It was really cool. Yeah, dude. It was. You know what? I'll share the story because dude, the way it turned out, you're gonna laugh, man. It was cool though. It was cool. Getting on the plane, I was like, dude, I got to get used to this accent, because I know people are going to be talking, like talking, London and stuff. And yeah, I was like watching a bunch of like Peaky Blinders at the time, I didn't even know, dude, these fools are Irish. I didn't know that at the time. I'm here listening. I'm trying to understand
You're trying
their
to absorb
accent,
the
right?
culture.
Yeah, I'm trying to absorb the culture, wrong culture. The only reason I know is because I took an Instagram picture. I was like, hey, I'm starting the show. I'm trying to get into it. And one girl replies saying, they're Irish, right? I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, what do you know? Like, they're close enough. I'm watching Peaky Blinders and stuff, and we land, and I think we land like around like 2 noon, and dude, we took off at like 5 p.m. So I was jet lagged as hell. It was really bad, and all my friends decided we should all stay up until 10 p.m. and we can all go to sleep. Bro, I was bugging because I just couldn't stay awake. Like I remember I was so tired and stuff. We ended up eating fish and chips in London because
Nice.
I know that's like a a classic British meal. It was ass. I didn't like it. Super oily. There was more skin than fish. I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like my heart was beating at twice the pace because I was trying to build all that cholesterol down, trying to push it down. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I was already jet lagged, and the fish and chips comes, and it's just crazy because it's like hella gloomy, hella depressed, like the raining and shit, classic London weather. And they, at the time, I was like, what else is like a classic London meal? And I remember I see this billboard on the way to our Airbnb. It just says, brand new, must get, instant beans in a can. And I knew I was in trouble. It's like you see something like that, you're thinking, this is what's hype. Like people are waking up like, can I get some beans in that can? Like, I mean, we've been having beans in cans. I don't know what the fuck is special about them, but I at that point I was like, what's the hype? And I learned about how beans on toast is a very British meal.
Yeah.
And I knew right away I don't want to be British.
Yeah.
No offense to any people that are British listening to this. I mean, I don't even know how the hell you got here, but if you did get this far, I love British people. I think they're awesome.
But they can't cook.
They can't cook, dude. But you know what? You know what makes it worse?
What?
The English channel separates them. Like, you can't even go to your neighbor and get some bomb food, Like, you have to take the train to go get something and then going back. So I get it. I get where they're coming from. They're isolated.
Another thing, too, is I just heard about this. So they just recently left EU, right?
Yeah.
So they're not part of the European Union. So that means that Europeans that are part of the European Union, they can't live in Europe and work. They can't live and work in London without having like a special passport. Now, the problem is a lot of the chefs, a lot of the cooks in a lot of these restaurants, they weren't from London. These are Italian guys that are trying to get some work. These are Greek guys. These are the real good chefs from like the parts of Europe that's known for the great food. They were going to London, living there, making Italian food, making other types of food, making it super bomb because they're great cooks. And then when Brexit happened, they all had to leave. And now London's just left with a bunch of, British cooks, and they're just like, same recipe, but it just ain't hidden different. It's just hidden, not the same. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's because like the cooks aren't there no more. And that sucks.
I'm going to be honest. It's a good place to eat in London if the guy cooking it isn't British. And it's fucked up to say, but it's true. If you listen to an accent and it's not British, you're safe. I remember I went to our French pastry cafe, and I was looking, dude, like the way they even display their food on the outside. Oh my God, like it was beautiful. I remember I was eating crepes and croissants, and I'm over here like bugging out. I was so hungry. I go inside, I hear bonjour, and I'm like, it's a wrap. We're eating good today, boys. I'm like, I'm dumping everything. Like, we got to eat up. And it was amazing food, dude. And I get it, dude. I get what you're saying on that. I mean, that probably makes us, just to be straight up, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really caught up on why, that whole thing happened with London leaving the EU and stuff. But dude, the pounds and the pence miss me with that, bro. Like, euros are so clutch. You have that and you're going around, you're set. Pounds and pence, dude, like, it sounds cool. cool, you know, like I got a couple pounds on me, I got a couple pence on me. It was cool, like I get it, but like that's it, you know. And then you realize you have all this coins in your pocket, and it's just it's awkward, you know. Lord forbid you walk past a homeless guy because your pants are shaking with money, and they're like, "Can I have some change?" And you're just like, "No, I don't have any," and you're walking away with your pants, you know. And they just know, dude. They know, like, oh, this guy's fucked up. You know, you feel like you're teasing it at that point. But dude, like, it was really cool because we actually saw. I don't know if you're a fan of, like, I don't know if you know much about, like, the Globe, William Shakespeare's theater.
Okay, yeah,
That's
the
like
Globe
where
Theater,
yeah. So apparently what happened was, like, this guy who was really into plays, and William Shakespeare specifically, he was like an American actor or something, or he was like a play actor. He goes to London to go check out the Globe, and he finds out that it's a parking lot, you know, because it burned down. And, like, you know, apparently it's funny. I went there, dude. It's so crazy. Like, you know, William Shakespeare is so core to so much literature as how we're growing up, you know, poetry and everything. And to think that a Volkswagen is parked right on top of where that guy used to act, like, it really kills the vibe. I kind of wish I didn't see that, but it is what it is. Like, I still love some of the plays. So what happened is that this actor was so sad that William Shakespeare's Globe was not even there. He decides to build another Globe, which still plays William Shakespeare's plays, just like down the block or something.
Oh, okay.
It was like a 5-minute walk. It's so close to where the original destination is. And it was just so cool because, you know, you go inside and it's reconstructed like how it used to be. So, you know, open air, like there's no ceiling, open ceiling, you know, so when it rains, good luck, you know, because you're standing on sand and stuff, and it really gets muddy and stuff. You know, they use the same contraptions to, like, let props in and everything. Really awesome, really awesome. And, like, the plays, like, that they're performing, you know, I was really excited because, like, oh, we're going to play a really rare play called Henry VIII. Henry VIII, like, apparently that's a really slept on play. And I was really excited. I even considered going. And then I asked, like, how long's the play? Oh, 8 hours. No, never mind. I'm going back home. There's no way I'm going to be standing around. You know, I think that's the thing with movie theaters. You know, we get the reclined seats. You know, you're sitting back, relaxing. It's like a vacation. Over there, you're fighting for your life because, you know, it rains. You know, your shoes are muddy, murky. You know, people are bumping into you because they want to be a part of the action. It's like, dude, like, I don't know. It's just different. It's a unique experience, though. You know, if I ever go back and they're playing a cool play that I'm a fan of, like maybe A Midsummer's Night Dream or something, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. But, you know, it's funny because I remember the funniest part of that day, dude. Like, do you know how the Globe burned down? The second Globe?
No.
Okay, so it's actually hilarious because it has to do with the same play, Henry VIII. So it's about the king, of course, and, you know, the way that it's going about is, you know, the play is about, I believe, I hope I'm not wrong on this, but it's about the king getting influences from, like, angels and demons as he's trying to go about his journey as being a king, you know, being the ruler. And, you know, the way they mimic thunder and the way they mimic the lightning actually is that they used to put down wire on the actual play, like from the ceiling. They would open a contraption in the opening in the ceiling and let down wire, and it would be attached to a bunch of firecrackers. So they wanted to imitate lightning. They would set it off, and, you know, like, all that stuff would come down to look like lightning. So but they wanted to make it more realistic this time, you know, because I think what it was is, yeah, the queen, I think it was the queen or someone, it was a ruler. I forgot the ruler at the time. I think it was Queen Elizabeth, the first Queen Elizabeth. She was coming to see the play, and everybody was like, you know, we got to put some oomph into it. You know, we got to make sure that, like, you know, this is a really special performance. With lightning, of course, comes thunder, and there's a conversation, like, you know, what they used to do was they would roll a cannonball on the ceiling to imitate thunder, or, you know, they would pound some drums to make it sound like that. No, what happened was one guy working at the Globe says, yo, we got to step it up. And, you know, they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, we should set up a cannon in the ceiling. And, you know, we should have the cannon facing the ocean so it doesn't hurt anyone. You know what I'm saying? And the cannonball won't hurt anyone, and it'll be able to imitate thunder. It's going to get people spooked. They've never done this before. You know, this is, like, brand new. And, of course, like, people coming in and hearing it, they'd be like, yo, what is that? You know, that was, like, a really cool special effect at the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, the queen's sitting down, and, like, you know, it's a packed show and everything.
This is original IMAX
Time
3D.
comes. Original IMAX, you know, this is Avatar. You know, people, you're like, you're putting your hand out, thinking you could touch the angel and stuff.
And then you got
know,
Grandpa in the back, you know. back in the Protestant
Grandpa's
War
like,
of 1755. He hears those cannons. He's fucking
he's
jerking.
a Catholics dropping to the floor. Oh my God! He's over here holding on to the 90 Thesis of Martin Luther. He's like, "Don't touch me!" I still believe. Like, it's crazy. It's funny, man. It's funny because I think like PTSD in plays has always been a thing. Now that you bring it up, I feel like since the first war, there's always been that one guy that goes there that shouldn't be going there, and he's bugging out. He's like, "What the fuck?" Like imagine going to a play after the Civil War. Like. That must be crazy, like seeing like, Lord forbid you're at the one where Abraham Lincoln got shot at, because you're thinking it's coming back.
Who's next?
Yeah, imagine fighting for the Union and you just hear a gunshot, president drops dead. All your memories just flow back. Like, holy shit, I lost my brother at Gettysburg, my family disowned me because I was fucking fighting for the wrong side at some points. You didn't even know. Friendly fire, maybe, because you don't even know who's wearing what. You're just shooting just to shoot. Dude, like, that's probably its own thing, man. But, my bad, let's go back. The globe, like, so they set off the cannon when Henry VIII approaches. Okay, that cannon goes off, but they don't notice that the cannon ends up catching some of the props on fire. And, dude, what happens is they try to put out the fire. It gets worse. The globe burns down. And it's crazy because I don't think there was any casualties. And miraculously, everybody made it out alive. Just one guy had his pants on fire. And they poured beer on it or something and he was drunk or whatever. But because of that, that's why the globe broke down.
Oh, so that actually burned the entire building down.
The entire building
no one died, luckily.
Went down. No one died. It's just they didn't, like, after that one performance of Henry VIII, they closed shop, It was all done. And at the time, I think Shakespeare was retiring, and he was like, you know what? I don't want to be a playwright anymore. I think I'm just going to retire and spend time on my estate. So that's why the new globe is where it is now. This is, I think it's the third globe. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that experience because, like, it's just, I don't know, Shakespeare's kind of cool.
Shakespeare, if you're going to go to London, I would definitely check something out like that for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I don't know if did you ever take AP US history? Did you ever take a US history class? Okay, so I'm a huge river guy. I never realized this, but the Thames River, dude, it's low key really cool. You're looking over it like, Protestants used to puke over this when they were drunk. People probably died, a lot of death and stuff. This sounds fucked up, but like the Black Death.
Throwing bodies throwing Black Death bodies.
Dude. Right away, one thing I gotta say, America looks so, even the east side, when I went to New York and I saw some of the buildings in New York, no matter what building you see here, it will always look new compared to the buildings in London.
Yeah.
It's old. It looks so old. It's rich with so much culture, and piss, because there's a lot of homeless people there. But like, it's just, it's you could walk through the streets and it's like, you could feel it, dude. Like it's old.
Damn, that's so cool.
Yeah, dude. I saw the crown jewels in London, like the Queen's jewels and stuff. And this is where, I'm going to bring it up. Like, I'm a little conflicted because, I went inside and it was really cool, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been to... Was this the
Museum of Natural History in London or no?
No, that's something else. I think it's, I forgot the name of it, but I'll bring it up later on and maybe we can drop it. But the Tower of London. Sorry, okay. It's called the Tower of London. That's where the crown jewels are. Old armor, dude. Old armor. Like literally classic chivalry, fighting with knights in armor and stuff like that. They had a whole thing for that. It was so cool. An armory. There was paintings. The chapel where Anne Boleyn died. That's where it is. Ooh. So like the whole history thing is right there. It's really cool. What wasn't cool was when I checked out the crown jewels, there's like signs that explain where they get their jewels from. And there's this one sign that says, back when India was a colony, the Indian colonists were so proud to be British, they decided to give their jewels to the king. That's what it says on the sign. And I'm looking at this crown, and it's dude, I swear, it was a big sapphire. Like, it's huge. Almost as if you wouldn't want to give it away, if you get what I'm saying. And, and you're reading the sign, and it says happily giving it to the queen. Oh my God, we're so proud to be British. And I'm looking at this like, you know what? I think it's a little bit biased in how this sign was written, And, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not the most Indian guy. Like, I'm not wearing the flag on me, I'm not wearing, like, Indian clothes or anything, But, just standing there on the conveyor belt, going past all these jewels, and you keep on seeing, oh, yeah, this opal, India, sapphire, India, gold, India. I'm like, did you give any back? Like, and, the crazy part is like, I don't know if it was just me, dude, but the guards started looking at me because I would go back on the conveyor belt to look at the crowns. And dude, like, you know, these guards, they're looking at me like, what, you trying to take back what's ours? You know, I'm like, dude, calm down. Like, I just want to see it.
Fuck, bro.
It's crazy, dude.
It's like going to the
crazy.
airport all over again.
Going to the airport all over again. TSA looking at the jewels, you know? But this time, they're the terrorist, not me. Like, you took the shit, give it back, but it's fine. We're not going to go there, I guess. Whatever. But, you know, it's funny because another thing that I noticed, and this has to do with Europe in general, rich.
Yeah.
Like, old kings and queens, the way they used to spend their money, dude, they inspired me. You know, I thought the dream was to get a Lamborghini. Homie, there was this one pot where it was like a wine pot where they put drink in. It's so intricate, dude. Like it's a huge pot, and at the top there's angels, and at the bottom there's sea creatures. It was a depiction of the world, you know. It was so grand. It took 20 years to, I think, make, and the king died before he can even use the damn thing. And I just think that that's amazing. I jumped. It's taller than me. I jumped, and I couldn't even see the bottom. Apparently, you can fit over 200 bottles of wine in there, you know? And it wasn't even used because, you know, it's just because the king never had a chance to use it. He died. On the other side, you know, you see rings at the queen that just recently passed away. Rest in peace. You know, she's like, you know, wearing rings and stuff. And it's so funny because there's a story about how the ring creator, the one that was making the rings for the queen when she was getting for her ceremony, when she was getting inducted, it didn't fit her finger, and apparently they had to make her a new one, and they used a completely different gem. And you know, all the people are like, oh my god, what a fun fact. In my head, I'm like, please tell me that gem didn't come from India just to become trash at the end, you know? It's just so fun. At the end of it, I felt conflicted.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, you know, I don't know how to feel, you know? And it brings up a very interesting conversation because I don't know if the right answer is just giving it back.
Right.
Because the deed's done, number one, and number two, it's like, I don't know what they would do with the crown.
What?
Like, they can literally, she can donate it to, you know, a museum in India, like one of the biggest museum, and put that crown on display as a symbol of, like, them, you know, giving, like, just recognizing it, you know, recognizing what they did, and then remake a new one.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, the Indian museums could probably hold it just
like,
as well as
they
the ones
send
there.
out people to go find something.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably tons
I
of
get
museums
you.
out in India that have the capabilities of storing this stuff, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But I think it's like a, you know, I think it's also a pride thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's our queen's
Because they don't,
crown,
I
you
wonder
know?
if maybe, like, you know, their reputation was like taking everyone's stuff. So it's like, if you take away all the stuff, what are they kind of left with? Beans on toast?
Right.
It's like, come on. Like, they don't, you know, they don't want to rep that. They already have to eat that every day for breakfast. So it's like, they need that, you know? But they really don't.
The British Empire in history, it used to be the biggest empire at some point in time. And now to eat beans on toast, it's like, you know, you kind of fell, you know, and that's just the understatement to say the least. And that's why I feel like they're so like, hey, let us keep the crown. You know, like, you know, you got your freedom, let us keep the crown.
This is all we got.
That's what it is. Yeah, this is all we got. You know, you lost. You know, everybody's gone. You don't see this. You know, it's funny because there's a point where everybody in the world used to look at the British Empire and be like, don't mess with Britain. Now we're looking at it like, your fish and chips sucks. You know, like, when are you coming over here? And it's funny because I'm brown, you know. I feel like there's a point where brown people used to be scared of, you know, the British Empire. And I'm coming in like, can you give it back? You know, like, can you give the crown back? Like, you know, I'm joshing and they were joking and stuff. But anyways, getting to the later parts, I actually spent New Year's Eve at London.
No.
Dude.
Do they do like a ball drop or anything like that? Like, what do they do?
Dude, so the way it is that they do a fireworks show off the River of Thames, and where the Bridge of London is, you know, with the tall pillars and stuff, like the really beautiful bridge. They do a fireworks show there, but the thing that's weird is that you have to pay for it, dude. And I can't believe this, but after the pandemic, I don't know if it's because of their economy or what, before it used to be free. Anybody could go there to watch the fireworks. Now they charge. And there's only a limited amount of tickets.
Right.
We couldn't go because you can only get so many. And I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. That's like, you know, here in America, if you want to go outside and see the, for example, you want to go see the Disneyland fireworks, you know what I'm saying? You can still go see it. But if you really wanted to, just go climb a couple buildings or, go see the hill or something. But over there, it's just so weird. Like, it's very hidden because we tried to see it from another bridge. We actually went to 2 bridges back to try to see the fireworks. And this one building just blocked all of it. It was actually crazy.
Wow.
But dude, it's you know what? It was a good experience though, because we were alongside other people that were also trying to get it for free. So it was like a community thing, the buildings putting down the numbers and stuff, and it was really awesome.
You're like, we didn't see the fireworks, so I guess it's still 2022 for us.
Oh, homie, it gets better because we brought our own fireworks. We have some people that were in the crowd shooting fireworks. I wouldn't say dope just yet because I was gonna ask you, like, dude, do you know why you're not supposed to blow fireworks when it's windy outside?
Why?
I didn't know this. At the time, I was like, I didn't think this would be a reason. Apparently, if the gust is really strong, it can blow the firework away from its original destination. So like, for example, if you're shooting your firework this way and, forward, and the firework and the wind picks up the firework, that firework could go backwards. It can go back. The reason I know this is because when this guy was shooting the firework on the bridge, it didn't go. The first time it went backwards, on the other side of the river. Okay, that's cool. But, as we all know, when a person lights fireworks, there's not one person that lights just one firework.
Yeah.
We got to go for round 2 or 3. I'm walking with my friends, dude. This firework straight up goes up, and then the wind blows it. It drops straight down to the ground and gets chipped on the side of the bridge, right where I am. And immediately, I'm thinking 3 things.
It's like, fuck this country.
Yeah, I'm thinking 3 things. Number 1, I didn't know wind can do that. Number 2, my friend's in front of me. Is he okay? And number 3, is my jacket flame resistant? Because I know, dude, it's so funny. Like, like in video games, I have really good reflexes. Not in real life, homie. The firework got in the ground, I immediately thought, I just closed my eyes. I was like, it's over. I thought for a second my eyelids could protect me from my damage. I just got LASIK. My eye vision's pretty nice. I just thought to myself, it's over. I hope these eyelids could help. It pops. And, luckily it was a muffled pop. It wasn't like the big explosion. So, we were all scared in something. It was really crazy. Some of us got anxiety off of it because it's like, holy shit, it was crazy. And what's crazier is after the show, all the streets are blocked. So you have to walk back to your place. Bro, I swear to God, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, because we had to walk for maybe hours, dude, just to get an Uber, and we begged this guy to take us back. Because we couldn't find an Uber because all the roads were closed. So we constantly get an Uber, canceled, get an Uber, canceled. And we're like, dude, it's crazy. I go up to a cop and I'm like, hey, like, can you help me, get around? He's like, yeah, turn around and just leave. I'm like, all right, thank you. I turn around and I leave. I'm outside the police department. I'm like, wait, he didn't give me directions. He just told me to fuck off. I go back and I'm like, yo, wait, that wasn't real, was it? And he's like laughing. He's like, nah, you gotta go here, you gotta go here, you gotta go here. I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, I literally told my friends, I'm like, dude, I don't want to sound like we're messed up, but, we're kind of comfy. If we pick a spot at a park or something, we can probably take care of the night and, probably go home after. They're like, no, we got to go back. I'm like, all right, whatever. So we ended up getting back like 3. We did check out the Natural History Museum. Did you check out the Natural History Museum?
I actually didn't even go to London. I didn't get to visit.
Oh,
London.
You've never been?
No, I've never been.
Dude, wow, okay, don't go. There's like some really cool spots that are really cool checking out. Like, the Natural History Museum is really cool. There's this dinosaur that apparently goes around Europe. His name is Dippy. Dippy the dinosaur. He's this really huge mold cast of a Bronchiosaurus.
Dope.
And my friend is really into dinosaurs, so we had a chance to see that. And dude, amazing fossils. That museum had the greatest gallery of fossils that I've ever seen in my life. That is an amazing place. If you're into dinosaurs, highly recommend checking it out. There's a lot of cool stuff there for fossils.
Wow.
Really awesome.
That's cool.
You would also like the British Museum, because that's where the Rosetta Stone is. Ooh. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to see it because you had to buy special tickets. But it's funny because I bring up the argument with the crown jewels. And, I go inside the British Empire and there's different galleries, like Japan, Rome, Greece. And it's really cool. Egypt, see mummies, closed sarcophagus and all that. It's really amazing. And then you realize, and you start asking yourself, how do you get all of this, And all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, you know what? I don't think they pawned the samurai gear. I don't think they did it for trade. I think they jacked it.
Yep.
You look at these sarcophagus and you're like, I don't think you asked.
Yep.
I think that it felt like walking into like a pawn shop,
Right.
Like you just see things that are not yours, but they're just haggling, like you just see like it's like a collection of things, and there's some fun facts and it's like skulls and stuff. It's really unique. I never felt like this in a museum before, but here, you kind of have this weird feeling, and I'm not trying to sound too PC about it. And, I'm not a huge PC person in general. I feel like I'm a regular schmo, I just check out stuff. I love history. But I think because I come from a background where I feel like there was a little bit of oppression that's connected to the British Empire, you kind of look at this kind of stuff and you're just like, interesting to say the least. It definitely creates a conversation.
Yeah. When I was in Greece, we got the opportunity to visit the Parthenon Museum, which pretty much, or the Acropolis Museum, which is pretty much the museum for like the biggest temple, the Temple of Athena that was in Athens that they built for. And they have this like really dope like pillars, and it's 4 pillars, and it's like 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one's just missing. And it's like, wait, this is weird. Why did one of them did it get destroyed? Like, why isn't there a full set? And the tour guide's like, yeah, so we have 3 of the pillars, but the last one is in Britain. And every single year, Greece asks Britain if they can give it back so that we can add it to this collection. And they say no, because they have their own little collection over there. So yeah, they got tons of stuff over there in Britain. And it's like it's totally kind of an elitist thing because they don't think that other countries have like the technology to actually preserve all of these artifacts, which in some cases, I guess may be fair, but I mean, give them the benefit of the doubt, at least, it's like, or at least use some of those resources to help them out, build something out there so that they could, have a piece of their own culture. Because at the end of the day, you might think it's British culture, but it's really not. Like, it's somebody else's shit. Like, there wasn't British people building that stuff,
Right. No, yeah. I mean, if I even saw like anything that was British, hell, just give me a beans on toast gallery of the evolution of the beans that you used. That'd be something to be like, hey, you got something that's yours. No, man, I get it. I get what you're saying. It really did hit. And I feel like I've been shitting on Britain for so long, but to get, just to turn it around, I thought seeing the Big Ben was amazing.
Dope.
Big Ben is definitely one of those things where you see it up front and close. And I'm a huge history guy. I just couldn't help but just feel like I'm in awe seeing something like that. It's much thicker, dude.
Wow.
And, it's not really tall, but it's thick. Like, it's a thickie, bro. Like, this thing is like, it's really big. And I really thought it was amazing to see that. Mm-hmm. A lot of girth. He's packing. London's packing for
cool.
sure. Yeah, it was awesome. The Eye of London was really great. The London Bridge, beautiful, dude. The architecture in some of these places, but this leads to after we went to France, and that's my favorite place, Paris.
Ooh, yeah, Paris is amazing.
Dude, like, I remember, I'm not trying to sound extra, and I'm not trying to sound like a typical tourist. I saw myself in Paris. Like, I feel like the culture, like the architecture was beautiful. I love the food. I love pastries. I love, like, I don't know. It's just like, I know there's like the stereotype of like how French people could be very stuck up and stuff. But you know what? I did not experience that one bit in France. As a matter of fact, it was the complete opposite. Welcoming.
Nice.
It was funny because, I know like the stereotype with Americans, American tourists, fucking pretentious assholes and stuff. So whenever I would bump into people, I wouldn't say sorry. I would say sorry, say it in a British accent. So they thought I was one of them, so I'd bump into people, be like, sorry, my bad, just getting around here. I try my best because it's like, dude, if they find out I'm American bumping into people on the train, I didn't know if I was going to offend anyone, Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Watch out. Getting around here really quick. I was just trying to, and I know it's a shit accent, but damn, that's all I got. Like, I gotta make it work.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. God save the queen. It's just one of those things, man. But in France, bro, like,
Rest in peace.
I love it. It was so nice. Like, I don't know, man. I really love the fashion sense of the people that are walking there too. They're just so swag. Like, dude, you're sick. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I get it. I know why Kanye made that song.
Dude,
I get it.
Me and Roger got to be in Paris during Paris Fashion Week, and it was just so awesome because during Paris Fashion Week, even if you ain't going to the gala, you're wearing your best drip that week. You know, you got an outfit planned for Monday, for Tuesday, for Wednesday. Like, everybody was dripped out. And it was just really cool just to be around all these stylish looking people. And you're like, wow, these guys have so much like culture and like so much style. Like, they're so cool. And also Paris seems like very diverse. Like, you see like a lot of different ethnicities there, and they're all like vibing on a Paris level. You know what I mean? They're all dressed all nice and they're all speaking French. So it's really cool. It's kind of like America in a way, but definitely.
I love the language too.
Yeah.
French, when they speak French on the phone. Yeah, you're speaking love right there, bro. Like, you better chill with that, you know? Someone could be like, you know, where are you from? And I'd be like, are you flirting with me? You know, like, it's just like, you hear this sometimes, you're like, ooh, okay, it sounds a little spicy. We saw the Arc de Triomphe, and I don't know, did you go there?
What is it?
The Arc de Triomphe, like the arc thing with the roundabout with cars driving.
Yes,
around
I did see it.
stuff.
The Egyptian Arc. That's from Egypt too, which is kind of funny because
No, not the Egypt one. No, the one that they made after the Napoleonic Wars. It has like angels and stuff on it.
Oh, I don't think I saw it then, dude. Is it the huge roundabout? Because I didn't see the roundabout. No, I didn't see that. Damn, missed out.
No, dude, it's, if you ever have a chance, I love the architecture on that. It's crazy because you have to pay to go there. And you have to go underneath. I didn't know that, so me and my friends, we just fucking jaywalked. We ran through the traffic, and we ended up, you know, seeing it for free. It was really awesome.
Oh, you know what? I did see this. This is on like Paris's kind of like Rodeo Drive, like where that street with all of like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, right? And at the end of that street, there's the Arc. You go underneath.
Yeah, and if you like literally, if you go to the Arc, you'll be able to see the Eiffel Tower. It's like one street that.
Okay, I did see it. I did see it,
dude. A really amazing architecture there.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like the architect, it's crazy, Seth, because when you're looking at all these buildings, like you'll look at a building in America and it's just like, you know, like box, boom. But like over there, like they get the box and then like they like do like designs on they got like angel statues, like different stuff. Like everything is super designed. Like there's just like detail on everything, and it just makes everything just look so much cooler.
Yeah, like literally the only thing I know about Paris is fucking from Cars. you guys seen Cars?
Yeah, I've seen Cars, dude.
Did you guys hear
I don't even think it's the first one. The first one's completely,
not even the first
it's
one.
Radiator
First one's
Springs all the way. And the
Springs.
second one,
Cars.
it's Cars 2.
Yeah, the second one.
I think it's the second one.
I was gonna say, it is the second one. It is the second one.
I didn't want to say a number. I didn't know what it was.
Yo, dude, you had 3 chances. You could have guessed. I tried Ratatouille.
Oh, you tried Ratatouille in Paris. That's
I tried
a good
Ratatouille. I
vibe.
made it a mission. I had to do it because of the movie.
Wow, I should have thought of that.
Dude, low key.
I already do. You're like, hey, we got anything vegetarian?
I've never had the silence so loud, bro. That spoke for it. It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad. It's just not what you expect. Like, you know that flashback in the movie when like the critic eats it, homie goes back to the childhood? Fuck that. I wanted to get out of the restaurant. That's where that flashback took me. I gotta get out. That thing, it was nice. Like, it was so cool because we met the waiter. Dude, waiter is like trilingual. Homie speaking all types of languages, and we thought it was really awesome. And we asked him, how'd you learn English? And he said rap.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, what'd you listen to? He's like, Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, Kendrick Lamar got you to learn English. I'm like, hey, what's your favorite song or whatever? He's like, Money Trees. I'm like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. I dabbed him. I'm like, you're sick, dude. You're sick. And he asked me, he's like, you should pick the wine. And I was like, oh, wow. So, they gave it to me. And I just feel like in France, bro, like it's such a big responsibility when you pick the wine. Like they're the wine country. Yeah. I'm looking at the menu like I understand French. Clearly I don't. And I'm like, it's so funny because I picked the one with the most words. And I was like, hey, this one's a favorite. I was like trapping it. I'm like, hey, this is a family favorite. He goes, you know what? That's so crazy because a lot of people from like, he was just like, I don't know if he was just joking with me or whatever, but he was like, this is a good one. It's a rare good one that not a lot of people pick. And I'm over here like, you know, it is what it is and stuff, right, dude? I taste it, bro. I hate wine. I'm never gonna try it again. I don't know why. I convinced myself I'm a wine person. It's so bitter.
Yeah.
I can't do it, dude. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not a huge wine fan, but we got really
sweet
drunk off of it. We went to the chateau in someplace out of Bordeaux, and they were like known for making their own champagne. And it's not really called champagne because it's actually has to be from Champagne if it's considered champagne. But it was like pretty much we got like 3 bottles of it, and it was like the most. It tasted almost like. Have you ever had like you know those like apple cider, but it's sparkling that you get like as a kid on like.
The Martinellis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Martinelli. It was like Martinelli's, bro. It went down so easy. We each had a bottle. Roger had a bottle. I had a bottle. Nolly had a bottle. Dude, we were stumbling back to the train. Bro, there was a point where we're running down the train. And then like we're running through these grape fields to get back to the train. And we just stop like, yo, we need to get some grapes before we go back so we can snack on the train. So we're all like going into the grape fields, picking all these grapes, running back, dude. I'm so drunk. I fall. I like scrape the shit out of my knees. I bleeded everywhere. I don't even know. I got my grapes, so I'm good. They got some blood on it. I didn't even notice. I get back to the train, knock out. I wake up after the train was over. I just have blood all over me. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like I haven't been this drunk in so long. But champagne's the way to go. Champagne's the way to go. I don't like wine at all, dude. I don't like wine.
Dude, I think it's like a event thing, you know. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, "Hey, you wanna drink?" Yeah, someone pulls out a bottle of champagne. It's not like that. Like it's more of like a.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Smoke any ciggies out there?
Dude. All right. I'll tell in the way the events go, I'll tell you when I pick it up. I'll tell you yes I do, but I'll tell you when I pick it up. But in France I did. In France though, I wanted to ask you actually, what were your thoughts on the Eiffel Tower?
Me and Roger got to see it together, and it was like really cold. But we got to see the light show, so it was like towards like once the sun goes down and the lights come on. I was
every hour,
really like happy about my experience. Like there was not a lot of people there, and like it was a cool vibe. Yeah, I like the Eiffel Tower. I thought it was like a really big, good size. I didn't like. There's just a bunch of people there trying to sell you knickknacks and shit, and like I didn't like that. But once you get away from them, either. It's fine. It's fine.
Dude, I remember when I first saw it. I clearly saw it, man. I just stood there like, holy shit, like I'm in Europe. Yeah. Like it was just like that was when I noticed. Like that's when I felt it, you know? You see it. I think it's just one of those things, man. Like there's so many iconic things out there that you see sometimes and you're just like, no, this is the thing, you know? And I think I experienced that a lot. I felt that with Big Ben in London. That was my favorite part. But for France, like seeing that, dude, like I don't care what anybody says. They can say it's not tall enough or whatever. I wasn't even looking at the height, just the iconic image of being there. You just felt it, man. And I loved it. I
even
love
when
France.
you're not there and you're just in a different part of France or a different part of Paris and you just can look to the side and you can still see it because it's just kind of like a big, it's so big and you're just like, nice. Like I would like anytime I just always want to have an Eiffel Tower view. Like if we're sitting at a restaurant, I just want to be in the seat so I could just be looking at it, smoking my cigarette and just being like, yeah, I'm in France, baby.
Dude. Wow. Yeah, man. That was, my favorite destination in France though. It actually wasn't the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if you're, this probably goes back to if you took European history, the Palace of Versailles.
You got to go. Me and Nolly were gonna go, but it was kind of like a 30-minute drive outside of Paris, so we didn't go. But whoa!
I made it. I literally remember telling my friends. I asked them. I said, please, like, I need to go. Dude, Caleb, like, I always like you know me. You know, like we always talk about what happens when we make money and stuff, and we always joke around buying nice cars and stuff. We're in a different league, bro. The French know what's going on. So much gold. Oh my God. Dude, this guy, you walk in, you get the vibe, man. This king knew what was up. Like, oh my God, it is beautiful. you cannot spend one day there. If to really immerse yourself in it, at least 2 days, because I felt like I had to rush it. My feet were hurting, and I just didn't want to go through all the rooms at some point.
Did you get any of
But
that,
dude,
the famous hot chocolate there?
yes,
So
had the hot
awesome.
chocolate. I had
It's not normal hot
the
chocolate for the
crate.
listeners out there. It's just melted chocolate. It's not hot chocolate
Yes.
like milk and chocolate. It's just melted chocolate, and it's supposed to be like so delicious.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow.
The texture of it, it's mud. That's like that's how it. It's so thick. You're drinking it, thinking like you're in the swamp, homie. Like it's, and the thing also, it's not sweet. It's
Ooh.
bitter.
That's kind of cool.
It's chocolate. It's bitter. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a huge fan. I like the idea of it, but I just wish they added
Yeah.
some more sugar to
Right.
it. It was just thick, bitter chocolate, dark chocolate.
Some people love
still
that though.
good,
Some
though.
people love dark
Yeah,
chocolate.
some people love like dark coffee. You know, people like, oh, I like my coffee black. Yeah, no, like I like myself, so I like getting a little bit something else in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it was so cool. I grubbed there, bro. Like Versailles, go eat there, bro. At the place you're gonna go get the hot chocolate when you go, get the food there as well.
What
The
did you get
sandwiches
to
are
have
amazing.
any? Did you try any duck?
Dude, I didn't try duck. I tried this pork sandwich there instead. It was fire. Dude,
That's haram.
bro. Versailles. God, it's haram. Fuck, not on Ramadan. But like, dude, oh man, skip it. I don't even play the ramen theme
Hey, we'll
song,
cut it
bro,
out, we'll
'cause
cut
I'm
it
in the
out.
background. Yeah, cut it out. But dude, Versailles was my favorite place. I love it. I loved it. Like, I mean, I could go into this for hours.
Did you get
but
to
yeah, just
explore the
continue
gardens?
story. Dude, the gardens explore you, homie. You're like, you're freaking, when you go there, bro, it's huge. You know, the idea that the king used to hunt there, it's almost like, dude, calm down. You know, like there's a point where I would even tell myself like, this is a little excessive, you know? And I love glamorous things. I love big things and stuff like that, you know? You know, people think you're extra when you buy a Supreme shirt. No, this homie has a Supreme Forest. This guy has the whole shebang out there, you know, with deers and rabbits going around. It was just amazing, you know. And we also went there on the coldest day, bro. Oh man, I remember, bro.
Like
Like
it's
my
like
friend.
the cold slices you there in Paris somehow. It gets through the jacket, it gets through the clothes,
Yes.
and you feel it.
It's personal.
Yeah.
It's like it almost assaults you. Like it's like I'm surprised it didn't take my money the way it was coming at me. You know, like this thing takes everything. And I remember, like I was wearing a jacket, and my friend's like, "Dude, I'm feeling sick." And I was like, "Dude, you know, you know, we're really close." And I was like, "Should I do it?" I was like, "Fuck. All right, here, take my jacket." He's like, "You don't need it?" Nah, it's not that bad. Oh, bro,
You're a
I'm
good
freezing.
man.
Bro. I remember going to the bathroom, bro. And you know how like people say like it's gross when you sit on a warm toilet seat? It's not in France, homie. You're blessed. You're blessed when it's warm. Because when you sit on that piece of ice, bro, you're shaking, man. Like I don't know what it was like to be in the Titanic, but man, like I think I got a glimpse. You know what I'm saying? You sit there, you're like, you know, it's, dude, Lord forbid, man. It's, you know, you don't want to loiter there. You got to get it done and go. But like, yeah, dude, I remember going to the bathroom. I was freezing. You know, I coming out, my friend's shivering. You know, he's like, we order an Uber, bro. The palace, you know. So we went to the back museum, and this goes past the gardens.
Okay.
You have to take a trolley to go there. The trolley's closed, and we had reservations to go to a restaurant. We weren't going to make it in time, so we actually did have tickets to the last trolley, but we decided to order an Uber instead because we thought it was faster. Uber calls us. The gate's closed. We're like, we're going to come to you. And my friend's like, we're not going to make it. The reservation's like, you know, the reservation's not there. And I had to ask my friends, I'm like, can you run? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let's go then. We started jogging. We're running through these forests, bro.
That
like,
sounds so fun.
it sounds so fun until you're there, man. It was so cold,
You're
my
fighting
guy.
for your life.
Like, I'm fighting for my life. No jacket, because the jacket's on my homie. I'm running, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if you're gonna kill me, do it now. Like, I don't want to make it, man. And we're running. We're getting in the Uber, and we're just shivering, man. We're like, you got any tissues? Because there's snot coming down our nose and everything, you know? We ended up getting there on time, fortunately, and we ended up having a good night. But, dude, all right. After that was Rome. Okay, bro. I didn't tell you this, but
I haven't
at
been
this
Italy
time,
either.
where we're on the timeline, I haven't slept good ever since I left the house. Home,
Yeah.
here. I slept on a couch in London. And Paris, we slept on this, the couch, like a futon. It was a couch sofa type of thing, a couch, a bed. I don't know who the fuck designed this couch, bro. You sleep on, dude, I swear to God, Seth, check this out. You sleep on the bed, metal bar, right where your back is. You might as well just be sleeping on the fucking floor, dude. And I don't know why I did this, man. I slept there for 2 nights.
So you were just like the jacket. You're like, yo, homies, you guys take the beds. I'll take the couch. I'll take the floor.
Yeah, because we were traveling with girls, and it's, the whole rule was give the beds to the girls, right? And there's just one guy that was very picky on where he slept, just so we don't want to have any conflict. Take the bed, I'll take the couch. That happened in London. So the same thing happened in Paris. I swear to you, I think I had a pinched nerve because my friend said he also had the same thing. Because I remember waking up, bro, for Rome. We only had 4 hours of rest because we had to get up 2 hours before because we didn't know where the hell we were going. We get up and the flight's at 6. We wake up at 4. I wake up, bro, my back. Like, dude, like, you know how, like, you ever seen those Life Alert commercials where, the lady's like, Life Alert was there for me? No one was there for me, bro. There was nothing to click. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm getting on a flight to Rome, We get on the flight, bro. My friend's still sick. He's like passed out. He just can't. He's having a bad time. I see this thing crawling on him. And I'm like, is that a tick?
Oh my God.
Dude.
What the fuck?
I remember because I was sitting in the middle. Homie on my left has a tick on him. I remember. I look at the guy on my right, and it was my friend Sammy. And I'm like, Sammy. He's like, yeah. I'm like, bro, what do ticks look like? And he goes, little tiny bugs. Like, you can't miss them. And I'm staring right at the tick. And I'm like, I'm not missing it. He goes, what do you mean? And I'm tapping his shoulder. I'm like, look. And it's funny because I didn't realize this. My friend that was sick, he was awake the whole time. And he pretty much heard the conversation because I was whispering. I'm like, dude, like, do I flick it off of him? Or, like, do I just leave it on there? And then he's like, I don't know, is he bit? I'm like, dude, I'm not going to check. Like, we're whispering like this. And I decide to, like, I flick it off of him. Just, like, just flick it, whatever, move on. We get off the plane and at this point, we're in Rome. Oh, bro, I look down on my leg. We're waiting for our baggage. I look down at my pants, tick. And I just flick that thing off. I'm like, whatever, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not even going to think about it, bro, because the idea, I'm thinking to myself, I got to check my luggage or whatever. So we get to Rome that day. Okay. Bro, you ever seen Luca?
Yeah.
Same thing. Spot on. I gotta say, one thing I love about Disney is that you kind of like question like where it's like the movie doesn't make sense until you go.
Whoa.
It all clicks. The Vespas, the conversation, the family dynamic, the conversation, the atmosphere. It's so joyful. So if I were to say it like this, London depressing, Paris sexy, Rome fun. Rome is just like a very family. It's like you're in an amusement park, but it's a whole city. Just of how open and happy everybody is. Like everybody like was just chilling. They're just having conversations. I get why they were hella attacked during the pandemic. By the way, it sounds fucked up to bring it up now, but you see these clusters of people in the alleyways. You're thinking some guy coughs, you're done. That whole area, it's over. But dude, architecture, culture, amazing. Food. I actually, dude, I literally, by the end of my time at Rome, it was 3 days, I was puking up, like not puking, but I was coughing and burping oils, herbs, and like garlic, dude. I remember telling my friend, and when we went to Switzerland after, I couldn't eat a pizza. That's how much I ate. It was almost like, I don't know, a PTSD, bro. Because it's like everybody would be like, pizza, pasta, those two things. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying different pizzas, different pastas. Same amount of garlic. And like, it's amazing. I highly recommend it because I wouldn't want it any other way. If you go to Rome, eat till you want to puke because that's how you should be going to Rome.
Yeah.
The first day, I think what happened was, this is where, okay. So right when we got there, you asked me, did I smoke? Okay, cool. So I'm walking. And I'm going through the liquor stores and I'm seeing absinthe, potions and stuff. like, what the fuck? Like, you guys selling? I remember I went to this weird cracked out place. They're selling absinthe, bro, with like a skull at the top for like the pop cork. I'm like, what the fuck did I walk into? So then I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, you just got regular cigarettes? Like, no cigarettes here. I'm like, what the heck? Okay, so I looked it up. Apparently you have to go to a tabaccaria. That's what it's called.
Tobacco shop.
Tobacco dispensary, tobacco shop. I find one. There's one on the way because I think where we were going to
Coliseum.
No, that was the second. We were going to the Vatican.
Ooh.
I think we went to the Vatican. We were walking to the Vatican, so I pick up. It's funny because like you go to the tobacco shop and there's like all these cigarettes and stuff. And at the time, I forgot to ask you, what do you get? Like I don't know because there's everything. I look up on Google like, hey, what's the one that everybody gets? Marlboro Reds.
No,
all right, give me a pack of
you did
Marlboro
not
Reds.
smoke marbles over there.
Yes, I got Marlboro Reds.
Okay.
I'm smoking Marlboro Reds. I'm walking down. I light it and I'm smoking and I'm like, dude, I felt so European. Like it was like, like I feel like here you light a cigarette, people look at you.
You're
dude,
dirty.
You're disgusting.
You're white trash.
Yeah, I got moms chiefing and yelling at their kids, smoking their face and everything. Like, that kid's done.
Yeah.
He's concussed for life. And I'm looking at them like, fuck it, if that's the norm. I breathe in and I also
breathe it right in their face.
Too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
It's part of the culture.
About the culture, dude. But yeah, just walking around, I'll be chief and one, like 1, 2, going around and stuff.
Keeps you warm, huh?
Dude, keeps me faded, homie. I was over there spinning. I'm walking around. I remember like I almost crossed the street I wasn't supposed to. My friends pulled me, a car drives by, and they're like, Nathan, like, dude, like you're getting a little dizzy, huh? I just take a drag. I'm like, I'm good. Let's go. Let's keep on going. Let's keep this ride going. I was just vibing, bro. I don't know about warm, but it definitely makes you feel something. Like I'm gonna be honest. You smoke a cigarette, you feel powerful sometimes. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like if I got jumped, if there's some thugs, like I'm gonna rob you. You get me with the cigarette, I'll take someone down. Like I'm down. Like I'll play dirty. I don't give a fuck. Because it's like you're messing with like I always picture Clint Eastwood. From those Western movies. With the fat cigar or something, those fat ones. And I'm just like, dude, don't fuck with me. You don't want to mess with Nathan when he's on a Marlboro. But, we get to the Vatican, bro. Dude, okay, so it's so funny that this is a part of the podcast because we just talked about religion. So, like, yeah, I come from a Hindu background and stuff, right? And, we're learning about, art and everything. By the way, we saw some Michelangelo's paintings and stuff.
Roger said it was crazy.
Dude, like, you see it and it's exactly where the camera took it for your textbook. It's crazy. I felt like I was in something that I shouldn't have been there. I felt like it was too fake. My whole life I've been wanting to do this. I'm a huge history guy. You go to the Vatican, you see this art. Dude, I can't describe it, man. It's worth it. It's worth it, 100%. Like, if you ever go to Rome or Italy, you gotta go there. You just got to, man. Then after that, like you see the paintings on the way, and at the end of the tour is a Sistine Chapel.
Wow,
dude, I remember walking in there, bro. Okay, look, I'm not trying to say anything bad. Have you ever entered a room? I don't know if you've ever done felt like this, but like you enter the Sistine Chapel, the atmosphere changes. Like there's like pressure.
It's like a vibe.
Room. Like the
Yep.
No, bro.
No.
I wish. Like a vibe is like it's like a heavy vibe. Like
it
Oh.
almost feels like deja
like
vu.
it feels like it's like it's not choking, but it's like it's a very serious, quiet environment. It's serious, and like I don't know why. Maybe I just felt this like throughout history and stuff. Like this was the hot spot, Like this is where popes would pray. You enter the room and you feel it. Like that presence of like history, religion, like this is where a lot of Catholicism centers around, this spot. I felt it so bad. I remember my friend at the time, I was like, hey, because he was Catholic. I'm like, hey, are you going to pray? And he's like, bro, I don't know if you feel it, but I think I'm going to pray. And I'm like, bro, I might pray with you, because it's like, you feel it. Like I felt it like that, dude. I deadass prayed. I prayed, dude. I'm not even Catholic, Christian, or anything. And I just closed my eyes and I prayed. Because it's like, because here's the thing, bro. It's like, I don't care what you think about religion or any religion. you got to show respect when you go to places like that. Just because if it's not your world, treat it as if it's somebody else's,
Yeah.
you know? And I went there with the utmost respect. I don't want to ever, like, I'm not there to like joke around or anything. But the way it just made me feel, it just felt very, not mandatory, but it felt so strong. Like, it's okay to pray. You know, it was just a very, like, it was just very heavy. So I prayed, and dude, this is crazy because it gets funnier from this, dude. Like, check this out. So, not Pope Francis. I don't know if you know this. The last Pope, he passed away in December.
Yeah, they left his body out, like open casket, right?
Guess what day I went to the Vatican? The last day they did that.
Oh my God.
So I'm seeing the line of people. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, is this how everybody is, you know, to check out the church, you know, St. Peter's Basilica? And the tour guide's like, no, I think the Pope might be inside. I'm like, dude, the Pope? You know, I'm like, damn, like, is he lecturing or something? She's like, wrong one. I'm like, wrong one. And I'm like, oh, because I looked it up on my phone at that point. Dead Pope, you know, like he passed away. And I'm like, what is that? What does it mean? And she's like, you know, the body's out there for display. I'm like, we can see the body? She's like, yeah. So we walk up, bro. We enter the church. Dude, I stopped joking. You know, the same thing happened where you feel that atmosphere. We get up, bro. We see that fool, bro. Okay, not even that fool. I take that back. Wrong words. We see that guy. We see, you know, that guy on the pedestal. You know, you can tell that of course he's dead. But, like, his skin is, like, green, you know, because it's, like, aging. You know, it's all, like, there's no blood. Like, dude, bro, it was heavy. You know, it's crazy. And, like, you know, I remember, like, so the way it works is, like, you walk forward and then you make a left. Make a left, homie. You see another Pope that was, like, wrapped up in his tomb. I think it was Pope Pius XIV or something. He died in 1917. They entombed him, and you can see his body in the clear casket. I saw 2 dead popes, and a part of me at that point, you know, my friend starts praying again. My Catholic one, he starts praying. I told myself, I'm like, bro, you know what? It's best not to do it than to fake it. Just walk out, you know, just because I'm not trying to draw on that energy. You know, like 2 dead people alone in a room is kind of sus. 2 holy dead people in a room. See, now now it's a conversation. Like, you know, now it's different. So I just left. I was like, you know, I'm just going to show respects, whatever. But dude, that was crazy. You know, I saw 2 popes, and, like, it's crazy how none of them were the ones that we had, like, the one that's alive, you know, like, I saw 2 of the dead ones, and it just really changes your perspective. Another thing, I looked down on the floor, cigarette butts. I was like, dude, that's haram. There's no way you pull up to the Vatican and chief a fucking dart right there. You know, like, what are you doing? You know, I'm like, dude, the Father's right there. You know, like, no way. You know, I couldn't. I didn't even think about it. The audacity for someone to smoke a cigarette there, bro. Like, it's extra, man. Don't even get it twisted. But yeah, dude. Like, after that, man, we went to go see the Colosseum. Bro, you'd love it.
I know I would, bro. It's like one of my dream places I want to go. Because I remember me and Seth used to watch this show called Looper. No, Jumper back in the day. I don't know if you ever remember that movie.
Is that the one where he can teleport? He can, like, jump areas. He can teleport.
Yeah,
yes.
And, like, there's this one scene where, like, he's teleporting all across, like, the Colosseum and shit. So sick. And I'm like, bro, I want to go there so bad.
So sick, dude. I went there, man. It was my first wonder. My first wonder in
Wonder
the world.
World.
I saw that, and it was just crazy. Like, they're still discovering stuff there, dude. And the area around it, seeing Roman architecture, bro, dude. The idea that you're walking down the same steps as Romans back in the day, it's like, it's such a human experience to just do that. Because it's like, it's not even natural wonders. It's not natural development. This is humans, you know? This is us, technically, you know? Same biological construction, just a different time period. And you see all this, you know, beautiful work that they did. And you just can't help but just be in awe. It's such a human experience. It's a psychological experience. It's such a personal experience, you know?
I imagine it's probably similar to, like, seeing the pyramids, you know? You're just like, how did humans create this? Like, especially, like, humans before us, you know what I mean? Because we think we're at the height of technology, the height of civilization. So, like, when we see something ancient like that, but so grand, we start to question, could we do that? Even with our technology today, could we do that? And you're like, man, dude, this world's crazy, dude. Humans are
Dude,
crazy.
we gotta go check. I want to travel with you, man.
Dude, I would
'cause feel
love
like
to.
when
I
you
feel
go
like we
with
both love
friends-
history together. I feel like
Yeah.
we would totally just go through the history vibes.
Dude, I got so inspired by the Colosseum. I'm over here on YouTube looking up documentaries on it. You know, I fell asleep listening to one, but like, yeah, man, like, I would, dude. If you, dude, we gotta go sometime
we gotta
together
go, bro.
to Europe,
We gotta
'cause
go.
It's just such an amazing experience.
Seth needs to go too. I want to take Seth to Spain, live with him there for a bit, just learn some Spanish
Dude.
and just vibe out Barcelona.
I would love to, dude. I would love to visit you guys there. That'd be amazing. That's one place I didn't get to check out. But in conclusion, the ice cream there, amazing. Pasta and pizza there, amazing. I really love Rome, but for me personally, just because of who I am, I love Paris. That's the winner for me, man. You go there once, and I think just given my experience of how warm everybody was to me, I was very shocked, and everybody's just so cool.
I feel like France embodies when an American thinks of Europe, France has everything we want. You know what I mean? The culture, the food, the cigarettes, the different types of people. Like, yeah, France is a great embodiment of what Europe is or what the European vibe is. And dude, that's so sick that you got to experience that, bro.
Dude, I'm just happy I was able to share this with you.
Heck
we
yeah,
haven't
man.
talked about this.
We haven't talked about
it,
and I was super stoked to hear that you were going to experience that because you did it, Roger did it, Jeremy did it, and I've done it. So it's like the whole college group got to kind of feel that and we all had our own experience. We all did it differently,
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
sick, bro.
And I like how we each had our own individual, unique experiences, Like you went with Nolly, Roger went by himself, Jeremy went with his brother, I went with my friend group, and it's just like we all come back and we're just like,
we got it. And I just kept thinking, I want to go here with my friends. I just kept thinking that. I was like, if my homies were here, we'd be vibing on a different level right now. Swear.
oh yeah,
Swear.
crack open some Marlboro
Yep,
Reds.
yep.
Just it'd be crazy. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I want to. There's so many. The one thing I gotta say, Europe, I did get the highlights of each area I went to, but I think I want to go back and actually, kind of dedicate more time into understanding.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the British Museum. I want to go back to France and check out Versailles again. There's a lot of places in France, like restaurants and stuff. I kind of feel like I did check out Rome for the most part because everything's so close. Cool. You can't miss anything, bro. You will see the Vatican from the Colosseum. You'll be able to see stuff. It's very close. I feel like if I want to go back to Italy, Florence, Milan, stuff like cities like that, I heard are amazing. I've always wanted to go to Germany, Amsterdam, of course, like Netherlands and stuff. Spain,
and Portugal,
Europe
beautiful.
is just so rich. It's so rich, but yeah, man, that was pretty much it for my Europe story.
Dude, well,
man.
thanks for telling that story. I think that's a great place to end it on. That was I think for the last 30 minutes we got to talk about that. That was so fun. Hearing all this, you really hit it, man. He really did hit it because you think about it. He went to London, then he went to Paris, then he went to Rome. He knocks out Western Europe, then he goes to Switzerland, knocks out his school stuff. I feel like for a first time in Western Europe, you got it down, dude. You got it down. I mean, I don't know if people consider Italy Western Europe. I would technically because it's not part of Eastern Bloc. But I know Jeremy went to Budapest, and that's Eastern Europe, and he said it was a completely different vibe there. And I felt the same way when I was in Greece. Even though Greece is definitely part of the West, definitely a different vibe because it's not as rich there. So it's like, oh, you get to see how poor Europeans live, and they still got cool stuff, and they still got awesome culture because their cities have been there thousands of years, just like everyone else's. But they just don't have, as much luxuries items and stuff. But it's for a tourist, it's really fun because, your money goes a lot farther and you can do a lot more cool stuff. But Deo, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the pod today. I know me and Seth are just super grateful for getting you on, bro. We've always been talking about how if you on the pod would just be such a fucking vibe, a great time, so casual, so easy to do. Dude, it was so easy talking to you today, man. I'm so thankful for you taking the time, bro.
Dude, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys and just share my thoughts. I know I feel like sometimes, just rambling and stuff, we get off on tangents and everything, but I had a great time. This podcast is amazing.
Tangents is some of the best conversations. The most memorable conversations you have with your friends are sometimes you just bullshitting, absolute bullshit. Nothing is a fact. You don't know anything you're talking about, but it's just fun to talk and just, just with a friend and just go back and forth. So, I mean, that's what today definitely felt like. I don't think we were giving out too much misinformation. We were definitely definitely kind of trying to stay true to some of the stuff.
No, I would say like, we're 80%.
Yeah. 80%.
At the
That's
least,
a B minus. That's still good.
That's a B minus.
Yeah, that passes.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's your fault if you take us for work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we never said we were professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just three dudes
We're just three dudes trying to talk, bro.
Yeah.
Well, Deo,
Exactly.
thank you so much, man. I really definitely need you to get on the pod again soon because this was just so easy and it's just so fun. So I really hope that we can have you as a guest again. But thanks so much for joining us, bro. I hope you have a fucking good rest of your day, bro. And like I always say, I love you, man.
Thank you, bro. Love you too, bro. Peace out.